NFL Today is presented by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37.
And welcome back, everybody. We continue live right here on the NFL Today. Last Sunday's Giants-49ers contest gave new meaning to the phrase wild card, as not only did the Giants botch a potential game-winning field goal, but the officials blew a critical call that would have given the Giants another shot at victory.
For the game, 41-yarder, left hash mark. Snap is low. Allen can't get it down.
Everybody in the world saw my 5th and 6th bad snap and the absolute end of my career. I cost this team a chance to go to the Super Bowl. This is the best team in the NFC. I tried to make the perfect snap instead of a good snap, and you never do that.
All through the year we've discussed, what some options if it's a bad snap, and I acted on one of the options. I know one of them was to land on it and call timeout. I would have felt worse if I'd have landed on it and the clock ran out. On the other hand, I ran with it. There was one more chance.
When I saw the snap go awry, I just knew we were in trouble at that point in time. What I wanted him to do was 3rd down with a timeout. Just call timeout. We'll back it up, and then we'll have to do it again. But he's still a makeable range. Matt had the option and should have exercised the option that we've covered. 3rd down, 2nd down, 1st down with a timeout left. You call timeout.
Matt Allen can't get it down. He's trying to throw it. He just sees it downfield. He throws it, and it's incomplete. There's a flag on the play.
And as Matt Allen running and he throws the ball, I'm like, okay, we got a chance. Look at Soybert wide open. I saw a guy grab him and pull him down, saw a flag, and I said, we got another chance. Hold it.
The first thing I started doing is jumping up and down because I'm celebrating because I see the pass interference. And then I hear the call is illegal man downfield, but I'm wondering, what happened to the pass interference? Do they offset?
Next thing you know, they come out and they say, illegal man downfield, game over.
I didn't know until the next day that they didn't even call the pass interference, and it was the most blatant part of the play, I thought.
There are mistakes made in the game by officials. It's part of the game, and just like it is with players, just like it is with coaches. And you have to live with that.
On Monday, the league admitted that the officials missed the defensive pass interference call, which would have offset the ineligible receiver penalty and given the Giants an additional untimed play.
My reaction, I wasn't happy. I was upset. But at the same time, what can you do? They're not going to let you kick it again. They're going to send you a letter and say they're sorry, and you just have to deal with it.
You expect perfection on the part of the officials, and we didn't get that. And I would have rather not known, to tell you the truth, because it just makes it that much more frustrating.
The whole outcome is numbing in itself. In order for them to come back, everything had to fall for them. If anything, anything could happen, and they wouldn't have been able to win the game. So they needed all to line up for them, maybe even the referee's call thrown in there. Bottom line is we lost the game. They won the game.
We had a 24-point lead, and granted, we blew that, but it didn't matter. The last play was the only thing that mattered in the game. Most games come down to the last play, the last possession, and this one was no different.
We made it so that call really mattered. And in a game of this magnitude, that call never should have mattered because we were out front enough that we should have won the game easily. Losing this game, really, if there was ever a damper or me being upset about any sporting event or any game I've ever been involved in, this was the most upset I think I've ever been.
And who can blame him? A lot of blame being passed around. Dan, what do you think went wrong here?
Well, the thing that went wrong is they let him come back from 24 points down. In that situation, you got to find a way to make plays and not put yourself in a situation where you got to win with a field goal. But the special teams coach, right before you go on the field, you got to go. I know you go over it and practice guys and all that, but before he runs on the field, you got to grab him just like this.
Just like I do with you before the show.
If you fumble the snap, call timeout or dump the ball, throw it away. When you get outside of the pocket to give yourself another chance, you got to go over
all that.
Hey, a situation like this, Dan, you can't blame the special team coach. You got grown men that's getting grown men salaries.
You go over right out. Yes, you do.
You don't have time to go up there. Hey, Boomer, make sure you read the.
No, there was a timeout.
Hey, Dan, make sure you don't have time to do that. First of all, you're a football team, a professional football team. You know down and distance before you take the field. I think it's up to the players, the holders, to know that down and distance he should have threw the ball out of bounds. I'm not blaming
there were actually
two
timeouts back to back. There was more than enough time to communicate, and communication is paramount in this situation. You work all year long to be able to handle yourself in pressurized surprise situations. The Giants didn't do it, the officials didn't do it, and certainly Cheeky Okafor didn't do it for San Francisco. I still want to know why Jason Garrett isn't the holder for the Giants. You know, he's their third-string quarterback, not their backup quarterback, so therefore he can't go into the game. I want to know why he's not the holder.
You know, people can talk about, hey, they let him come back from 24 and everything. But you get right down to it, even with the missed field goal earlier in the quarter and then that botched attempt at the end of the game, you give him one more chance from 41 yards. You talk about how long they've been preparing. Go back to July when you're practicing in 100-degree heat. Give him one more try. It's at least 50-50. You got to admit, Giants are going to win the game.
There's no question.
No guarantee, but
San Francisco,
the percentage from 41 yards in that league is well over 50% made field goals.
Right, but again, it goes back to the fact that you still have to be able to communicate. Dan is exactly right, especially when you have 2 timeouts. Hey, bud, we got one time.
We got to disagree with you.
One timeout left. Use it if you need it in the case of emergency.
Away, call
because
timeout,
if they saved it then, I want to know why Kerry Collins didn't use it when they got the ball back at 1 minute. He completes a pass. They don't run another play until 29 seconds left in the game.
They mismanaged the clock. They should have had more time than 6 seconds.
Mike Westhoff is now with the Jets, their special teams coach. He would go over stuff with you. Just
he always go right before I go for a drive. Say we need to get the ball to the 30, need to get the ball to 35 to get a field goal, whatever it is. You always go over it right before you go on the field.
All right, guys. Up next, the resilient quarterback displays Pittsburgh's true mettle.
Stay right here, and I'll talk to Marcus about how we were able to steal away a victory last week.
How about them apples?
Steelers quarterback Tommy Maddox loosening up to face the Titans on the same Coliseum field where he was temporarily paralyzed 2 months ago after a hit by Tennessee's Keith Bullock. As we welcome everybody back to our Midtown studios and the NFL Today. The season didn't end for Tommy Maddox back on November 17th, nor did it end last week, even though the team and the quarterback faced another uphill struggle. Marcus Allen is in Nashville with more.
Well, that's right, Jim. The Steelers' incredible win last week versus the Browns was more than just a remarkable comeback. It was a symbol of Pittsburgh's entire season.
He's looking right corner of the end zone. Northcutt's there. He's got it. Touchdown. Left corner of the end zone. He's got a man open. Touchdown. It's Northcutt.
Touchdown number 2 on the afternoon for Dennis Northcutt.
Even when you guys were 17 down, your expression did not change throughout. So what did you know that the rest of us didn't?
Well, Marcus, I think it's important, that, when things are going bad and things are not looking good, that, you talk to the players about just keep playing one play at a time, one series at a time, and you keep believing that, if they start to see you losing faith, they start to see you, starting to overreact to the negative things, that it's hard for them to do what you've asked them to do.
I don't think everybody expected us to come back. We just wanted to go out there and keep making plays and never quit. And I think we showed that.
You threw 2 interceptions, but it doesn't seem to bother you.
When your back's against the wall, you only got one way to go about it, and that's to go down fighting. I was excited once everything started going.
Tommy huddled you guys up and had an inspirational speech. What did he say to you guys?
If you don't believe that we can come back, then, stay in the locker room. I mean, and that kind of inspired everybody. I mean,
I'm sure he was a little more emphatic.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I can't actually tell you what he said on TV.
Did you talk to your defense? Did you tell them, okay, this enough's enough, guys. If we're going to win this game, defense is going to have to do it?
If we lose, we go home. There's no tomorrow. There's no we get another chance at it. I mean, we came too far to lose now, especially to Cleveland.
The improbable comeback, and you had images or thoughts of John Elway.
Yeah, I actually thought about some of the games that he brought us back and how he did it and how he went about it. Yeah, I thought about it.
You guys have so many weapons. I'm not surprised that you guys can get 17 down and come back.
Well, I mean, you have Hines and Plex, and what years they had. You have a young kid in Antoine Randall. He just makes plays for you. And you have, the father of the group, Terrence Mathis, who suddenly,
right.
you can count on him. And then you stick, Fu or Amos in the backfield. There's a lot of people that you can put the ball to.
The Pittsburgh Steelers come back from all odds. How about them apples?
We fought all the way to the end, and it just goes to show you have to play a full 60-minute ball game.
Tennessee.
For the last time you guys played the Titans, things didn't go well. They physically really dominated you guys.
Yeah, they were more physical than we were. There's no question. I think it's one thing to be able to come back at home, but you cannot get yourself in those type of deficits on the road and expect to win many games.
Right.
we just let them get away. We let them get away, and we let them back in the game.
We're not going to go in there and worry about what happened before. We're going to go in there and play as hard as we can and get physical with them and have fun doing it.
We're going to ride this thing, ride it and see how far it goes, and hopefully we can live to play another game.
You can throw all these stats away because these two teams can care less about who's injured and who isn't, who made the Pro Bowl and who did not, and what team had a bye week to prepare and what team had a short week to prepare. I guarantee you these coaches are telling their teams, the teams that want it the most, the team that will sacrifice their body the most, is the one that will keep their Super Bowl aspirations alive. Jim, back to you in New York.
All right, good stuff. And speaking of these coaches, Marcus, Jeff Fisher, Bill Cowher, let me show you the first time they met. Back in 1983, that's Fisher returning a punt for the Bears, and that's Cowher, 57 of the Eagles, breaking his leg. Breaking Jeff Fisher's leg.
Why do we have
in
to show
1983. We don't expect any broken bones when these two square off today, but they did meet earlier in the year, and it was 31-7. People forget Tennessee was trouncing Pittsburgh when Maddox was injured.
Yeah, Maddox was injured. Cordell Stewart came back and brought this Pittsburgh team back. But let me tell you something. They gave up 429 yards passing to Kelly Holcomb last week. Pittsburgh did. Everyone knows that if you spread Pittsburgh out, you will have success. And Tennessee will spread them out. Also, they will spread them out and go into a formation they call empty, where there's no backs in the backfield. And Steve McNair will take advantage of the situation, and he will run. And he told me he needs to run in the game at least 50 yards for his team to stay in this game and win.
Well, neither one of these teams are really going to be able to run the ball because the Steelers are #1 against the rush. Tennessee's #2 against the rush. So look for the team that's going to be able to make the big plays in the passing game. Tommy Maddox, though, has, the great story about Tommy, all that he's done this year, but he has put the Steelers in some tough situations by throwing interceptions. When you're on the road in a playoff game, he's going to have to play good early and not throw interceptions.
You're exactly right, Dan. One of the reasons why they got down so big the first time these two teams played were because of those 3 interceptions that Tommy Maddox threw. And the fact here is that the Titans own the Steelers. 9 out of the last 12 times these two teams have met, the Titans have owned them. I think this is going to be a very difficult, tall order for the Pittsburgh Steelers simply because it's on 6 days rest. Let's not forget that. This is a short week. Kendrell Bell, Chad Scott beaten up. I think Tennessee wins this one. I really do.
Everybody's talking about that 6-day rest. They played 3 Monday night games this year, so they had 6-day rest.
Yeah.
3 times this year, the Steelers were 2-1.
2-1.
2-1. Okay. Coming up next as we continue on the NFL Today, but we're going to make that pick here just a bit, okay? So hold on. I can tell where you're going. Leslie Visser live in Oakland, where the Jets will renew their rivalry with the Raiders, and Solomon Wilcots from Tampa on the Bucs-Niners game. They're thinking big there.
Our ultimate prize is a world championship and world domination.
NFL Today is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. Miller Lite. Life is best told over a great-tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time. And by Ray Bestis, the best in brakes.
Listen. Knock him out. A controlled rage. Play with a controlled rage and passion. It's ours to win. It's our time now. Let's take it. Let's take advantage. Here we go. From the start. 1, 2, 3.
Eddie George all fired up. Controlled rage. He was on the Ohio State sideline during the Fiesta Bowl, encouraging his alma mater on to the national championship. As we welcome everybody back live to our Trump International Plaza studios, continuing on this special late Saturday edition of the NFL Today, leading up to the Steelers and the Titans. Tomorrow, the divisional playoffs conclude with the 49ers and the Bucs, followed by the Jets and the Raiders right here on CBS. We have 2 reports, beginning with Solomon Wilcots in Tampa.
Well, Jim, last week when the 49ers came back from a 24-point deficit to beat the Giants, you had to wonder if they empty their tanks, leaving themselves nothing for this game tomorrow, or was it the kind of win that would give birth to a greater confidence, allowing the Niners to go on and make a championship run? Well, if you talk to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they'll tell you that their defense would never allow that to happen.
San Francisco takes the lead. The Giants have squandered a 38-14 lead.
I would love to be in that position. Up by 24. Oh. Let's see. let's just line it up right now.
They're not going to allow us to come back like we were able to come back against New York. They're a team that once they have you buried, they make sure you're buried.
Our defense is not the type of defense that just self-destruct and break down. It just doesn't happen with the style of defense and the players like Derek Brooks that we have on this defense. It's almost to say it's unheard of with us.
You know you're going against the best defense. These guys fly around the ball. They can all run. You know, you got some key name players over there that make plays, you know, game in and game out. So, you know, we got to be perfect.
How do you contain a mobile quarterback like Jeff Garcia?
The thing that he's not used to is our speed. And that's the thing that people always talk about, how you adjust to a quarterback. How does he adjust to us? There's 4 of us. There's only 1 of him. We're going to drag you into misery and see how you like it.
There are times where you're going to have to make up things on the run, on the fly. I'm not saying that that's going to be a main part of my game come Sunday against the Bucs, but there are going to be times where it's going to be needed.
I mean, our ultimate prize is a world championship and world domination, and it's right in front of us, and we just got to go play.
Now, after missing the final 2 games of the regular season with a sore back, Buccaneers quarterback Brad Johnson can ill afford to get off to a slow start in this game. Now, I asked him if his performance will have the effects of either rest or rust, and he says, hey, I'll be well-oiled and ready to go. On the other side, the 49ers just completed a 1-hour workout here at Raymond James Stadium. And their quarterback, Jeff Garcia, was not present. Their head coach, Steve Mariucci, said that he was resting back at the hotel. He's wrestling with a cold. Now let's send it out to our other divisional playoff game in Oakland, where Leslie Visser is standing by.
Thanks, Solomon. It's a rare moment of quiet here in the Black Hole. Actually, the field looks great. It was resodded on Thursday. Well, as you know, these are 2 teams on the attack, both physically and verbally. Offensively, the Raiders rely on Gannon, Rice, and Brown, their weapons of pass destruction.
We think that if we can be better in the red zone, that it'd be a better football game. So for us, anyway.
Because you'll move the ball on them, don't you?
Well, we think we definitely have the people to move the ball, and we moved the ball up and down the field on the last time. We just couldn't put the ball in the end zone.
We're playing a team who's been there before, who's been there and done that. We're playing a bunch of veterans who knows what it's like when the stakes are really high, and they're on a roll.
A young quarterback is playing like a 10, 12, 15-year veteran. He's playing with a lot of confidence right now, and they're a very impressive football team. This is a team that has no quit in it.
Last time they held us to like 30-something yards or 50-something yards rushing, and the game was still close. So I think if we can get the running game going, it's going to open everything else up for us.
They're saying the same thing that we're saying. They had opportunities. They just ran out of time. You know, we're saying we left a lot of things on the table. You know, we had opportunities that we didn't take advantage of. So, you know, we'll see Sunday. We'll see.
The Raiders are a little tired of all the Chad Pennington talk. They say, hey, we have the league MVP. Well, the Raiders will have the services of Charles Woodson tomorrow. Sorry, Dion. He had a couple of excellent practices the last couple of days. Well, as for the Jets, they just had a walkthrough at nearby Burlingame High School. This is familiar territory for Herm Edwards. He grew up in Monterey. He played at Cal. Well, both these teams, both the Raiders and the Jets, have been emphasizing special teams. Bill Callahan said, hey, of course we're going to try to kick it away from Chad Morton. But as our buddy Mike Westhoff, Dan's buddy, said, we have something ready for that. Jim?
All right, thank you so much, Leslie. And I'll tell you another thing, the Raiders are tired of hearing about it. The Jets, the hottest team in football.
That's right.
Hey, we won 7 of our last 8, and in that stretch, we beat the Jets. You've been breaking down the film of that first matchup, Jets-Raiders. What have you seen?
Well, Jim, when you look at the game, it goes right to playoff football. What you need to do is run the football. And the Jets, last time they played them, they couldn't run the ball. Curtis Martin only got 26 yards on 11 carries. But the offensive line of the New York Jets are playing a lot better. They're coming off the ball. Dave Zott's back. They're pretty healthy. They have a lot of confidence that they're going to be able to go in there and run it.
You're exactly right, Dan. Now, going back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneer game for a second, you heard Warren Sapp say it's about our 4 guys on the defensive line that have speed, 4 against 1. Jeff Garcia is going to be severely pressured in this game, not like he was last week against the Giants. I expect the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense to shut down the offense of San Francisco.
They may well do so, but you know what? Terrell Owens will show up. 177 yards last week. But I'm more concerned about Hurst. Garrison, Hurst, and Barlow. They only combined for 27 yards last week, and that's a no-no against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They must attack Simeon Rice with the run, but Simeon Rice is going against an injured Derek Deese. This will be a matchup to watch in this football game.
You're calling for a little T.O. down in Tampa.
A little T.O.
Huh?
T.O.
Yeah, a lot of T.O.
We got to get a lot of T.O.
Guys,
yeah.
we're going to take a little T.O. ourselves, and when we come back live here on 5th Avenue, Dion will visit with Titans Titans quarterback Steve McNair, the perfect example of what players call a gamer.
They said practice make perfect. Dion and I will discuss how good things happen when I wasn't able to. Stick around.
Steelers linebacker Kendrell Bell knows all about playing hurt during the postseason. Painful high ankle sprain kept him out of practice during the week, but Bell came up big with 9 tackles last Sunday against the Browns before re-aggravating the injury. He skipped practice, by the way, again this week, but according to the Steelers, he is going to start today as we welcome everybody back live here to the NFL Today. Very chilly, very cold. Divisional playoff Saturday here in New York, and yeah, trying to get the whole mouth thing working here. But, you know, nothing would take Kendrell Bell's mind off the pain more than a couple of chances to sack Titans quarterback Steve McNair. But Dion, if they don't get to McNair, they could be in for a very long day. They didn't get to him the first time they played this year. Not one sack.
Not one sack. It will be a very long day. I talked to McNair, and he's led the Titans on a remarkable run. They've won 10 of their last 11 games. Yet through it all, people just haven't been talking about McNair enough. Maybe that's because his true value to the team is so hard to put into words.
Let's talk about your quarterback.
All right.
Give me one word to describe him.
Oh, tough.
Ebonically speaking.
Ebonically, beast.
Invincible. Give me one word. Ebonics.
Hard.
McNair runs into the blitz, gets away, spinning him down, he gets away again. Dead verdict.
Rich Gannon has the best supporting cast. Chad Pennington, young phenom. Maddox, the comeback story. How can I build a story about Steve McNair? What should I start?
I think a winner. Just being a winner. Whatever it takes to win, Steve McNair would do whatever it takes.
So when you look in his eyes,
you see power, you see strength, you see the attitude like, come follow me, because that's where I'm going to the top of the mountain, come with me.
He's a man of few words, but it's certain times during the game when he's like, look, let's get this damn ball in the end zone and quit messing around.
Let's go again and win this ball game. Let's go. Give me all the injuries. Give me all the injuries.
That I had or have now?
that you have had. Both toes.
Both toes. Back surgery. 2 shoulder surgery on the right shoulder. Bruised ribs, bruised sternum.
Wow, did he get smacked?
He's in so much pain. I mean, I see him in the training room. I mean, I see him hooked up to wires and ice and braces and everything everywhere. Like he just has like this suit of like pain, like, this jacket of pain and injury all week long, and then on Sunday he just takes it off.
Just look over your shoulder.
What hurts more, the injuries or the fact that you're third, and I don't know how you're third in the MVP balloting. Just not getting your respect, but you're getting the job done.
And that's all that matters to me. That's all that matters to me is getting my team in a position to win. You know, it hurts not being named in the Pro Bowl or, coming in third in the MVP, but you got to get to that big dance, and I'm trying to get my team to the Super Bowl.
Let's keep playing. The team never gives up right here. The team never gives up. You believe, will always believe. Right. All of you now. Let's go.
The ultimate compliment, as far as Steve McNair is concerned, came from Bruce Matthews. Bruce said, I wish I would have started my career 10 years later so I could play the next 10 years with Steve McNair as our quarterback.
Do you still feel like, coming from Alcorn State, that you still have something to prove?
It took a long time, since '95, to gain a little respect. And it's probably going to take 7, 8 more years to be mentioned amongst the top NFL quarterbacks right now.
That has to bother you, man.
It hurts, but you still got to play the game.
Right.
You still got to play the game. You got to put that inside you and build on that. You have to motivate yourself to be the best. And I feel like I am the best.
Hey, this is the healthiest Steve McNair has been in a while. He is healthy, he is ready, and the guy has a chip on his shoulder. He feels like he still, after all these years, has something to prove. And Boomer, this guy is.
Ebonically?
Ebonically.
I guess he's fat and tight, I guess, right?
Come on.
Is that right?
Boomer.
I don't know.
Fat
right?
with a PH.
Oh, fat. Okay, he's fat.
All right. He is ready, and we are too, for our first divisional playoff round of IBM Play to Win. I must tell you, everyone except Dion was in the winner's circle last week.
Because I took a chance.
With that Steeler-Brown game, and you went out there on a limb with Cleveland. We're going to begin with the Steelers and the Titans. If the Titans win, I don't see them winning by any more than a field goal, but I don't think they will. I think the layoff actually hurts them. I don't care the health and the healing. I think all the execution, the game reps, that they had that streak going, winning so many games down the stretch, they're going to miss that. I think Pittsburgh's comeback was for a reason. They're going to win here today. I like the Steelers in the upset here, Dan.
Well, ironically speaking, Steve McNair is off the chain. How's that? Off the chain.
All right, Daddy. Hanging out in Miami.
Really, it's going to come, yeah, a little bit. It comes down to the passing game. We talked about it, I think, on both sides of the ball. Whoever's going to make the big plays in the passing game is going to win this game. Steve McNair has one go-to receiver. That's Derek Mason. Pittsburgh has 4. So I look for Pittsburgh to have a lot of big plays in the passing game and to win this game. They'll be off the chain.
They'll be off. Look, I tell you what, McNair is a true talent, but, you know, it's hard to account for Plexico Burrs, Hines Ward, and, you know, who's going to know what Zerway's going to do? But you know what? I like Tennessee. I really like the Tennessee Titans in this game.
You picked Pittsburgh to go to the Super Bowl to start of the year.
I'm going with Tennessee to win the game because of that eye. I looked in Steve McNair's eye, and he has that dog in him, baby.
You know what? It's not pretty in Tennessee, but it sure is effective, and their defensive line is healthy now, 100% ready to go. I think the 6 days are a big deal. Bill Cowher made a big deal out of the 6 days early in the week. I'm going to go with Tennessee over Pittsburgh, even though they have more offensive
we've got
weapons.
an even split here. This side of the desk goes with Pittsburgh. Good luck, guys, here. And the NFL Today will return in just a moment. Natalie Cole actually will perform the national anthem down in the Music City. We'll be there for that. And as we go to break, take a look at Antoine Randall L. Yes, he muffed the punt last week, but then ran one back for a touchdown. Don't forget, the Titans had 3 punts returned for touchdowns this year. Watch Randall L. today. We'll be right back.
NFL Today is presented by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37.
And welcome back again live to our Fifth Avenue studios and the NFL Today. Let's hope we have another wild weekend as we did a week ago with the playoffs. Let's go to Nashville. Natalie Cole with the national anthem.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the rampart we watched, were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs were singing, and the bombs were singing air. Gave loose through the night, and our flag was still there. Oh, sing our Star-Spangled Banner and wave for the land of the free. And the
Coming up is the AFC Divisional Playoff game, the Steelers and the Titans. We'll see you back here at halftime. Enjoy the game right here on CBS.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League. Experience today's playoff game in high definition, brought to you by RCA, an official sponsor of the NFL.
Look, if you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, did you capture it?
Last week, the Steelers' season was in serious jeopardy. The Cleveland Browns had led throughout by as much as 17 in the second half. Then, the NFL Comeback Player of the Year inspired the Steelers' Comeback of the Year as Pittsburgh staged its biggest ever postseason rally, earning a tough ticket to Nashville. Super Bowl conversations seemed frivolous after the Titans' 1-4 start, but hopes became real as they steamrolled their way to a 10-1 finish. Overlooked MVP Steve McNair and reliable running back Eddie George have traveled this Super Bowl highway before. Nashville, Tennessee, the Coliseum packed with 68,000 high-decibel fans to see the North against the South in the AFC. North champion, the Steelers, against the South champs, the Tennessee Titans, former AFC Central foes. Welcome to the playoff picture here in the South. 15 days, that's the count. 15 days to San Diego. One of these teams will advance to the Final Four. And this is the culmination, Dan, of the start back in training camp, back in the preseason, the weight room, the work.
That's playoff football. I knew you'd be up. I knew you'd get up. Does it get better than this? No, it doesn't. So many wonderful stories in this game. And is there a story better than Tommy Maddox? The comeback last week from 17 points down showed that this Steelers team, no deficit is too large, and how ironic that he returns here to this field in Nashville, Tennessee, where on November the 17th, a pretty innocuous hit from Keith Bullock left him partially paralyzed for a couple of hours, and remarkably, he only missed 2 games and back here leading his team in the playoffs.
In so many ways, Tommy Maddox, indeed, the NFL Comeback Player of the Year. Bill Cowher says the strength of the Steelers, you would think defense right away? No.
No. This is not your grandpa Steelers anymore. They love to throw the football. Why not? The weapons at Tommy Maddox's disposal. Last week, this is what they did against Cleveland. Keep in mind, Hines Ward had 112 receptions in the regular season.
Well, the Tennessee Titans with 10 wins in their last 11 games, but yet did not get a single player voted to the Pro Bowl.
Well, and of course, they take all their energy, both physical and emotional, from Steve McNair. He is the leader, the undisputed man that leads this football team. Didn't practice at all in the month of December, but here he is. And of course, Eddie George will be the man out of the backfield. He had 79 yards and a pair of touchdowns in the meeting earlier this year with their win over Pittsburgh.
Sometimes a slow start for Eddie George. He's not the runner he was as a rookie out of Ohio State, but he epitomizes what a grinding running back is all about. The Steelers have won the toss. They'll get the ball first when we return to Tennessee. On the feet and ready to go here at the Coliseum. Temperature around 34. It'll drop into the high 20s before the game ends. Let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Bill Cowher's Steelers defense has some injury at key positions. Did Kendrell Bell, a linebacker with the ankle, Chad Scott, a cornerback with a hand. How ready are each of those 2 players?
Well, you know what? Right now, they're hurting. I mean, Kendrell's on one leg, Chad's got one arm, but right now this team's got a lot of heart. We're going to take this thing and see how far it takes us today.
Coach, thanks.
Thanks.
Bill Cowher in his 11th season with the Steelers, the longest active coach in tenure for one team. This is the 4th time they've met in the postseason, and the Steelers won the first 3. 2 of those go back to the late 70s when Pittsburgh, that Steel Curtain team, went on to win 2 of their 4 Super Bowl championships under Chuck Noll. Joe Nedney to kick it off to Antoine Randall or Lee Mays of the Steelers. And this divisional playoff game underway. Nedney's kick down to the 5. The rookie Mays to the 20.
running like Willie Mays out to the 35, the 37-yard line, and tackled there by the kicker, Joe Nedney. Tommy Maddox and the Steelers take the field. And here is the key to their game plan from the quarterback.
Our keys for today's game is that we have to control the line of scrimmage with our offensive line, get the running game going, and then get the ball in the hands of our great receivers and let them make plays.
And three great receivers complement the Maddox passing game, as we will see throughout the course of this game. It's Amos Zaraway, the running back, who starts, and he kicks his way to the outside and close to a first down at the 50-yard line. Here's the starting defensive alignment for the Tennessee Titans. Kevin Carter with 10 sacks leads the men up front. Ainsworth, a tough rookie from Tennessee. The linebackers, Randall Godfrey is back, but Bullock, many feel he is a budding star in his third year out of Syracuse. Lance Schulters at safety, the former 49er, led the team in interceptions with 6. First down at the 50-yard line for the Steelers. Fake to Zaraway. Maddox all day to throw. Picked off by Samari Roll. And Roll returns to the 48. And do they love that in Tennessee?
You can see that Plexico Burris is the intended receiver. And Burris, when he goes to make his cut, falls down. Now, did he get his legs tangled up? No, he just... Plexico Burris, the 6'5" receiver, just had his right foot slide out from under him, and Samari Roll just has to make sure he doesn't drop the ball, because there's nothing to keep him from catching it.
A huge early break for Tennessee. The Titans on Roll's interception. He had 2 in the regular season. 36 turnovers, the most of any playoff teams, but 10 of those came in the first 2 games for Pittsburgh. Here's Derek Mason on a little swing, and he has a first down at the Steeler 36-yard line. The Tennessee Titans. And their leader, without question, Steve McNair, and he's ready to use his legs today.
The key elements to the game is for myself to rush for 50 yards, to be efficient in the passing game, and minimize turnovers.
And when he's not running, Eddie George will. George with 1,165 yards and led the team with 12 rushing touchdowns. He's lined up behind McNair on first down. Quick throw, incomplete. Wycheck, the tight end, close to the 25, and nearly another first down. James Ferrier, the tackler. And speaking of the Steeler defense, let's take a look at their 3-4 alignment. Aaron Smith, tough against the run, and he chipped in with 5 sacks this year. It's Porter going to Honolulu. Joey Porter with 4 interceptions and 9 sacks. And in the secondary, watch the big hits from Lee Flowers at strong safety. Second, it is a first down at the 25, and here's Eddie George skipping his way for 5 to the 20, and everything working early, Dan, for the Titan offense.
Well, talk about being energized. Nothing like a turnover on the first possession, especially at home. It gets the crowd, like they weren't into it to begin with, but it gets them to a whole new level. But Eddie George is going to get his carries today, regardless of whether or not the Steelers are the #1 ranked defense in the league against the run. This is Tennessee. They will run the football, even if they're not having a lot of success with it. They'll still hammer George.
And here he comes. Finds a hole. Look at him run over the safety, and a first down at the 11-yard line.
Well, Lee Flowers will now be looking at Eddie George a little differently. And, you know, a lot of people think that if you smack Eddie George in the mouth early in the game, maybe he'll slow down. Well, my question, who was the smacker and who was the smackee right there?
Oh, Eddie George, he just gave him that look, Flowers, as he went back to the huddle. Yeah, I'll be back. What a hit.
Well, and how hard is it for Eddie George at 6'3" to get his pad level down there where he can deliver that blow?
First down at the 11. Drew Bennett, the wide receiver, in motion. It's George again. And not much in the center of that Steeler defense, maybe a couple.
Well, we talk about Eddie George, and in 5 playoff games when he averaged almost 110 yards a game, and he's still involved in the passing game. And Eddie George, he is healthy. He's as healthy as he hasn't been this healthy since the Clinton administration. and that's the truth. That's not a joke. Eddie George, numerous foot problems, feels better than he has felt in years.
Robert Holcomb is in the game for George, and he split out as a wide receiver on 2nd and 8. The throw incomplete. Close to a touchdown as it went through the arms of Frank Wycheck. James Ferrier, the linebacker, covering.
And it was good coverage by Ferrier. It's no secret that Frank Wycheck is going to be the target here for Steve McNair. And Ferrier to the inside, even though he never saw the football, was still close enough that Steve had to put it right on the hands. He did. That should have been a Tennessee touchdown. Ooh. Now, you don't get that many opportunities to have a well-thrown ball right on the palms of your hands.
Yeah, McNair and Fisher had the 6 on the scoreboard. The quarterback draw, and it's a touchdown for Steve McNair.
Well, in talking to Steve McNair, we talked about other running quarterbacks. Before Donovan McNabb, before Michael McVick, there was Steve McNair. And the guy can run, and he's run for over 3,000 yards in his NFL career, and he was doing it when those other guys were still in college.
Steelers had not allowed a TD on the opening drive in the regular season. Cleveland did score on their first chance last week, and McNair has 8 of those 50 yards he promised, and 7 points go with it. Tennessee strikes first. See Titans with Samari Roll picking off a Tommy Maddox pass. Go 52 yards in 7 plays. Took him a little over 3 minutes, and Steve McNair caps it with that 8-yard quarterback run. And now Netney and the Titans tee it up. Tommy Maddox waiting to make amends, which he, of course, has done throughout this year. Randall L. and Mays are deep, 2 rookies. There's Randall L. from Indiana, and Mays played his college ball at Texas El Paso. The left footer Netney. Not much wind here today. Fairly good carry, though. It's into the end zone to Mays. 10, 20, and out across the 25-yard line before corralled by a trio of Titans. Led by Eric Morris, a former Michigan State defender. Timeout in Nashville.
Yes, is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And by Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
Tennessee Titans winning 10 of their last 11 games in the regular season, open with a 7-0 lead. Steelers with the ball as we remind you to log on to superbowl.com for in-depth previews of all the weekend's games, as well as full on-site coverage. It's all at superbowl.com, or on America Online, enter keyword superbowl.com. Steelers ball, 28-yard line, and Maddox enters the huddle.
And Dick, the point here for Tommy Maddox is that interception wasn't his fault. He has to throw the ball while his receiver's making that cut. Burris slips and falls down. Tommy Maddox, I'm sure that thing, he's already chucked it on the old wood pile and forget it.
3 wide receivers. That's Randall L. in motion from the slot. Maddox comes back firing and completing to Randall L. And a first down at the Tennessee 43. Randall Godfrey, the middle linebacker, tailed him down.
There's no question the Pittsburgh Steelers have a lot of confidence in this passing game, and why not? We just see Randall L., the guy that can do everything. Returns, running patterns, and if they needed to, I'll guarantee you the kid that got over 11,000 yards in total offense at Indiana could play a pretty good game of quarterback, too.
What a second-round draft pick. Zeroaway trapped in the backfield and can't get to the line of scrimmage. Loses 3. Back to the 45. Carlos Hall, a 7th-round pick. He was 20 picks from the end of the draft out of Arkansas and contributes 8 sacks this year and a forced fumble.
What a delicious selection that was.
And what a defensive line the Titans have. They have youth, they have depth, they've got experience in guys like Kevin Carter, and what they really have is talent. This might be the deepest defensive line in the league.
On 2nd and 13, Maddox down the middle, incomplete. It was intended for Hines Ward, and Keith Bullock leaping in front of that pattern to deflect it away.
Yeah, this is Keith Bullock's first year as a full-time starter, and everybody with the Tennessee organization will tell you that he deserved to be a Pro Bowl football player. He's their leading tackler, and he does it all. Wonderful range, very physical at the line of scrimmage, and a real heady player. This kid is going to be good for a long time, Dick.
Well, he was the one guy everyone felt should have made it. And Javon Curse enters the game for the first time. Lines up on the defensive left side of the line. On 3rd and 13. Good protection for Maddox. Then he has to swing it incomplete to Fuamatu Mafala in the flat, and he was covered well.
And Tommy Maddox, that was really just a throwaway. And Bill Cowher telling us that especially it was personified in the game that they played here earlier, that Tommy can get greedy. He can, you know, he's not afraid to take a chance and he'll force the football. And Bill saying, Tom, look, punting the football is not the end of the world. We have a wonderful defense. Rely on them.
Let it go. And there is the punt by the veteran Tom Ruin. Derek Mason lets it bounce. It takes a Tennessee hop to the 24, down by Chris Hope, the rookie.
Boy, that was not much.
Just 21 yards.
Doctor, do you want the number 15 or the number 10 scalpel? Number
gets Tennessee off to the perfect start at home, 7-0.
Titans are 8-1 this year when they score first in a game. 9:20 left in this opening quarter, and Steve McNair and the offense ready to go back to work.
And a very unusual thing this week. Steve McNair was not listed on the Titans injury report.
That's right. He's had a red cross on his jersey all season. It's amazing. He didn't practice all of December, but he played.
He should have been playing for Switzerland.
That's right. Little play action, and McNair wide open is Aaron Kinney, the tight end. And Kinney's out across the 40 to the 43 before Lee Flowers can bump him out of bounds.
Well, people sometimes through design, because they want to throw the football, it's what they do best. Sometimes out of really just an admission that they can't run against the Pittsburgh Steelers, have filled the air with footballs against Pittsburgh. And I think we're seeing the Tennessee so far has a pretty nice balance. Eddie George has been getting a few carries, but Steve McNair will not be afraid to throw. In fact, he'll want to throw it a lot against his D.
And he's back to throw again. In trouble. And down he goes. The first sack of the game goes to Kimo von Oelhoffen, the veteran from Boise State, who had 3 in the regular year.
Steve McNair initially has a lot of time to look downfield. He's got a pretty decent pocket for him, but he just can't find anybody. But first of all, Aaron Smith got in there, and then von Oelhoffen was able to get in and clean it up. But that's the kind of pressure you like to get out of a 3-man front.
You see, the Steelers 3rd in the league in sacks with 50, and the only team they did not sack in the regular season was Tennessee, but they get one early today. Testimony to that offensive line in front of Steve McNair and Eddie George. It's George. Cuts back and right into the arms of the Steeler defense led by Michigan rookie Larry Foote. Foote seeing more duty with Kendrell Bell's ankle injury, and we'd better check to see if Bell is really able to go today. We haven't called his name yet.
Well, we saw a good example there of the chaos that Pittsburgh comes with on running downs as well. They run blitz, they cross people, they get penetration. That forces the running back to go in a direction he didn't want to go, and then they have such team speed, they clean it up so well.
3rd down 16 for McNair. Underneath, complete to Drew Bennett. He's got speed and heads to the sidelines, gets the first down at the 45. Chris Hope
Florida State rookie gets him out of bounds.
Boy, there's a good job of Steve McNair coming off a primary receiver, working his way through the progressions and then finding the open guy.
19-yard stand. They needed 16 for the first.
He was going downfield. He wanted to hit a receiver going down on a seam pattern, and then he worked his way over to Bennett. It's all working right now for the Tennessee offense.
Fake to George. McNair. Last second decision to go to Aaron Kinney is tied in. Incomplete. For a moment, it appeared he wanted to tuck it and go. B squared, what do you have for us?
Well, Dick, Steve McNair did not love missing those last 5 weeks of practice of the regular season. He felt himself getting rusty and out of sync, but he said there was one positive thing. He said, I really sat back and watched the movement of my receivers, watch them cut and get in and out of their routes, and that really helped me understand their body movement better. And he particularly mentioned that with Justin McCarron, who's really just starting to come along in this offense, and we'll see if that's a factor today.
Justin McCarron's Eddie Berlin, some of the young receivers, seeing more duty with the injury to Kevin Dyson. Couple of yards for George on second down. Jason Gilden there with a hit.
Well, Bonnie talked about Steve McNair and all that practice that he missed. You have to keep in mind that that affected everybody. And the ribs were the biggest problem for Steve McNair. More than anything else, that's the reason he couldn't practice. But you see at the bottom, he didn't miss a game. But not only did that make Steve rusty, that affects everybody on the offensive football team. The receivers, their pattern, their timing suffers when Steve isn't able to practice. The running backs coming out on screens. And it's remarkable that they held it together as well as they did. Going 5-0 in December. How's that?
It's amazing.
That's holding it together.
McNair on third down, complete. Bennett again, and it's a first down as he dives inside the 35. Here's a guy, Drew Bennett, out of UCLA, went there as a quarterback in high school. Bennett played quarterback in front of Ken Dorsey, the University of Miami quarterback.
And working here against the Pittsburgh zone, he just runs a little trailing pattern and comes in and sits down behind, but it's the run after the catch. The Pittsburgh defense not able to keep Bennett from picking up 5 or 6 yards after he makes the reception.
It appears that Zach Pillar, who has been sidelined with a calf injury, returning to the starting lineup, is down.
What are they?
CBS is sponsored by Labatt Blue, imported from Canada. Look up, see blue. And by IBM, taking business to the next level with e-business on demand.
Sun setting in the late afternoon, 68,798, 43rd consecutive sellout. There's Zach Pillar and the injury. Let's take a look, Dan.
Well, he took a blow to the head. Here's Pillar right here. Watch him get hit by Kimo von Oelhoffen right there. A forearm on the back of the head. That's a legal move by a defensive lineman trying to club the guy out of the way. He didn't mean to hit him on the head, but he took a forearm right at the base of his neck, at the back of his helmet. That'll catch your attention, and Tom Ackerman replaces him at left guard.
Ackerman from Eastern Washington has done a good job filling in for Pillar in the last couple of games. First down, Tennessee leading 7-0. Eddie George to the 30, and a gain of nearly 5 before Larry Foote playing for Kendrell Bell. And we still do not have a report on Bell and why he's not playing. Of course, he did have that high ankle sprain and played very well last week against Cleveland.
And there he is. And Bill Cowher was feeling really good about Kendrell's chances today. He's got an ankle sprain, but the pain is isolated in a very specific area. And when it's in a very specific area, you can deaden it with some type of an anesthetic. And they were very hopeful that they were, going to be able to do that today. But there's a problem. He is their best linebacker in many ways, and he should be on the field if he could.
There goes McNair, and he's hit, breaks a tackle, and has a first down at the 24. And there's the strength of the 230-pound quarterback and desire.
Well, when we met with Steve McNair a couple days ago, and I asked him, what do you think about when you hear all the praise being heaped on people like Donovan McNabb and Michael Vick? He got that smile on his face, and he said, When I was young, it was a flaw to be a running quarterback.
And that was an interesting comment.
There was, yeah, he said people perceived there was something wrong with my game as a quarterback, that I had to run the way that I ran. He said, interesting. Have times changed?
Yeah, in vogue now.
No kidding.
10th play of the drive. Underneath, complete again. Everything going, and another first down to wide check the tight end. Porter and Ferrier make the tackle. And without Bell in there and a rookie replacing him, and here he does make his first appearance now.
I know that the Steelers are proud of the fact that they have an offense now that can come from behind. I'm not sure that they want to have to continually demonstrate that. And right here, this Pittsburgh defense, if ever they need to make Tennessee settle for a field goal, this would be it. Take a look at that. Tennessee has monopolized the ball and the clock.
These are the two teams that led the league in possession time. They tied in the regular season, nearly 33 minutes a game. And McNair has to spend his first time out. It comes with 3:20 remaining in the opening quarter. Tennessee attempting to add to that 7-point lead. We're back in Nashville with a reminder, soak up the sun. Sunday on 60 Minutes, world where artists come and go before you know it. Sheryl Crow is a rarity on top for nearly a decade. She's on 60 Minutes Sunday. From the 14-yard line, McNair and the Titans leading 7-0. First down toss to Eddie George. Plows his way to the 8-yard line, and there's Kendrell Bell.
And that's what he brings to a football game. Kendrell Bell has to hurdle a would-be blocker, flow, and then choose the exact moment to knife upfield. And boy, did he time it perfectly, bringing down Eddie George. Right there he is, 97, right in the middle. There he has to go right over the top. But when do you go upfield? Right there is when you go upfield. Heads off Eddie George, and tell you the truth, Eddie George saw Bell coming and fell down.
Jason Gilden there made the ultimate tackle. Good gain on first down, however. Second down and 4. George tries the other side. They run him wide. He cuts back inside the 5. Dwayne Washington from the corner to force. And let's see where he stepped out of bounds. Shy of the 5-yard line, they mark it. Third down and a couple.
See, I think Tennessee will measure their success in the running game, not necessarily banging it out for 150 yards. That's not what Jeff Fisher needs from this ball club. If he gets 75 yards from Eddie George, I think they're going to be really pleased. Against this defense, Mike Heimerdinger, the offensive coordinator, they're going to be pleased. They don't care. They don't need a lot of flash. They want to keep the ball, and they want Tommy Maddox and Plexico Burris and Hines Ward to be spectators.
That's Eddie George way out to the left as McNair takes the snap and runs it like a fullback in the old single wing, and Kendrell Bell stops him right at the sticks. We'll see whether or not he picked up the first down or this is 4th and a foot.
Well, sure looked from up here that he had the yardage. What kind of a spot does he get? Well, now looking at the spot, it's close. Very close. This is going to be made or missed by a matter of an inch or two.
Ron Blum signals first and goal.
Half a ball. Surprise, surprise. Steve McNair takes off with the football. And that was a good spot. That's exactly where he put it. And, yeah, Jeff knows what confidence he's got in that guy.
Talk about time possession. This long time consuming drive. 14th play. And the Titans arrive at the 4-yard line. George breaks a tackle. He's down to the 1. Flowers gets him to the turf. We ask Eddie George, you were a landscape engineer, majored at Ohio State. Do you ever use that? He said, all the time, every Sunday, I judge the sod.
Yeah. Yes, he comes out and, is this a good fescue or is this a bluegrass or whatever? Yeah, he's.
You gave Jacksonville the top grade.
You better be careful there. Go get some letters from Columbus now.
Oh, well, doesn't mean he isn't well educated.
Kendrell Bell limps off, and this is not good for the Steelers if that's going to be
continual problem during the afternoon.
2nd and goal. George had stopped short, but continued to churn forward and is to about the 1-foot line as Kimo von Oelhoffen led the submarining charge of the Steelers.
Oh, and Von Oelhoffen had Eddie George wrapped up, and Eddie George powered out of the grasp of Von Oelhoffen. Von Oelhoffen, 67. Right there, he's got Eddie George by the thigh, got him by the leg, and Eddie pulls out of it. And because he's not down on the ground yet, keeps on digging.
Brent Alexander, who played here in this city at Tennessee State, finally got him down. 3rd and goal. George again. Touchdown. How impressive a first quarter the Tennessee Titan offense.
And doesn't that say it all, that look we just saw on the face of Dwayne Washington? A combination of exasperation and exhaustion.
76-yard drive in 16 plays. They were 4 of 4 on 3rd down.
And was that Tennessee Titan offensive football? We did not see a run that looked anything like Barry Sanders. All we saw was power, power, and a little more power.
Nedney adds the extra point. And with just seconds left in this opening quarter, the Titans impressively at 14-0.
Well, this is good blocking on the left side of the offensive line. Gennaro DiNapoli, the center, gets a good block. So does Ackerman. So does all the guys over on the left side. Big Brad Hopkins, the left tackle. And when Eddie George, you could see when he made that cut, he knew he was just going to glide in.
We mentioned
here comes Eddie, Dick, right at us.
And there's a feeling that George, because of his stature, 6'3", perhaps the tallest running back in the league, there's so much to hit that when you get to him, you get him down early. That has not been the case at all today.
No. I also want to throw some kudos to Frank Wycheck and Aaron Kinney. Double tight end formation on that side, and they got their blocks as well.
9 minutes consumed in that drive at the end of the regular season. Each of these two teams had the ball exactly 32 minutes and 47 seconds in a game on the average. That was best in the league. Thus far, the Steelers in the quarter have had the ball only 1 minute and 41 seconds.
And obviously we've got so much football to play, but this Steeler offense needs to keep the ball for a while. Their defense is on the ropes.
Nedney's kick is short, and it's Antoine Randall. He can scoot. 66 yards for a touchdown against Cleveland, and he gets it all the way out to the 40-yard line on his first return before Rocky Boyman can make the stop. Folks, tomorrow night on CBS, see all your favorite stars, movies, TV, music in the One Award Show where your vote counts. Tony Danza hosts the People's Choice Awards live tomorrow night, 9/8 Central here on CBS, America's most watched network.
Well, the people's choice in this town are the Titans. Being in Nashville the last couple days, Dick, reminds me of Green Bay. This town is head over heels.
Zeroaway caught in the backfield by Randall Godfrey, and that's how the first quarter will come to an end. Offensively and defensively, a Titan 15 minutes. 14-0 the score. We'll return to the Coliseum in Nashville right after this message.
Still doing those bills, hon?
Just resting with a credit card.
We open the second quarter. Dick Enberg with Dan Deerdorf and Bonnie Bernstein. Mike Arnold, our director. Lance Barrow, our producer here in Nashville. And look at the time of possession as Tennessee dominates that opening quarter.
And 23 of Tennessee's plays, 11 of those were runs by Eddie George for 36 yards.
Zeroaway lost 5 on first down, so 2nd and 15, and Zeroaway back on the draw as Tennessee looking pass, and Zeroaway picks up 8 on the draw before Keith Bullock can drag him down.
Amos Zeroaway is the man now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jerome Bettis is healthy.
But Bill Cowher wants the explosiveness that Amos Zaraway brings to the lineup. He can turn what might be a 10-yard run from Bettis into a 15, 20, or even longer run with his kind of quickness. The bus, and we're looking at Jerome, has been a Warrior for a long time, and he may get some carries today, but he's not going to be a big factor.
3rd down and 7, flag down. The throw is complete to Randall L, and it's a 1st down if.
Well, Kevin Carter was certainly across the line of scrimmage. Whether he was induced or not, I'm not sure, but he was well across at the snap of the ball.
Offside, number 93 defense. Penalties decline. Result of the play is a 1st down.
Ron Blum, a professional golfer, which reminds us that CBS golf coverage is tuning up, and they'll be in Phoenix next week. 1st down at the 48. Steelers need something positive here offensively. Hines Ward yet to catch a pass. He was in motion, and here he comes in the backfield, and they got it. Back at the 41. Javon Curse in to make the play. And then Henry Ford and John Thornton to finish him off.
How could things be going any better than they're going for the Tennessee Titans? Hines Ward, now we know Hines Ward and is a guy who's so versatile in running the football, and Javon Curse, I think Pittsburgh was counting on Curse not to honor his responsibilities. And guess what? The kid is not just a guy that just goes all out for the quarterback and forgets everything else.
A 10-yard loss. Maddox underneath, short gain to Dan Kreider, the fullback from the University of New Hampshire, and Randall Godfrey and Keith Bullock with a stop at the 47.
And we've got our first little pushing and shoving going on down there. Randall Godfrey not the least bit happy about what happened. Somebody hit him late.
Our aerial coverage today is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Southwest is a proud sponsor of the NFL and the official airline of Super Bowl 37. 3rd and 14. Maddox shotgun. They pick up the blitz. Maddox goes deep downfield. Complete. Plexico Burris, the rangy 6'5" target, pulls down a 1st down pass at the 30-yard line.
Well, Dick, you said pick up the blitz. No kidding. What a job up front by the Steelers, and big man gets downfield, and I'm sure a whole lot more aware about keeping his footing. That was a cautious cut by Plexico Burris there. And as a quarterback, I don't know how much better it gets than having a target as big as Burris. Can't be around the guy without being struck as to how huge the guy is.
Jeremy Tillman, the tight end, in motion. The screen to the flanker left. Hines Ward flagged down as Ward moves inside the 25-yard line, but this one's coming back. Bill Cowher and his counterpart Jeff Fisher, so much alike.
Holding 64 offense, 10 yards, repeat 1st down.
Cowher is a year older at 45 than Fisher. They both played 5 years in the league, more or less special teams guys. Cowher linebacker, a special teams madman in his day, and Fisher was a kick returner, defensive back, and Cowher actually sent Fisher into the coaching ranks.
They really did. Jeff suffered a broken leg in a game where the Bears were playing the Eagles. I don't think it's Jeff's favorite topic.
Cowher doesn't mind talking about it.
No.
Well, movement before the snap.
Big Wayne Gandy, the left tackle. And that's the problem with being on the road.
False start, 72 offense, 5 yards.
That's going to make a 1st down and 25 back at the 45. Well, let's go back to 1983. The Bears and the Eagles. Return man Jeff Fisher gets hit by 57. That's Cowher's number, and Cowher crunches him down, and with it a fractured leg, sending Fisher on to an early assistant coaching career. Maddox has to throw it into an oncoming lineman, Albert Hainsworth, the rookie from Tennessee. Well, that's a good target. He's 6'6" and about 340.
A little argument that even though Tommy Maddox may have been outside the quarterback box, he didn't get the ball back to the line of scrimmage. This ball bounces about 5 or 6 yards short of the line of scrimmage.
Zaraway was close.
And there was a question as to whether he even got outside the tackle box, to tell you the truth.
2nd and 25. 3 wides and Zaraway. Maddox incomplete. He had Burris crossing at the 25 in front of Samari Roll.
Well, Tommy can't have a guy in better position to make the catch than Plexico Burris was right there. The ball hits him on the hands. Yes, it was catchable. It would have been an outstanding catch by Burris. It could have been a couple feet closer to him. I think it would have been a sure thing.
4 wide. 3rd and 25. Here comes Curse. That flushes Maddox. He has to go short, and not much there at all.
When you can come with 3 people, drop 8, and force the other team into just dumping it off, that's exactly what you're looking for. No way the guy's going to run for a first down against 8 people. I don't care if it's Antoine Randall or not. He's not going to work his way through 8 Tennessee players to pick up a first down.
So that holding penalty followed by a false start moved the Steelers back. They're unable to recover and now have to punt the ball. Ruin's first kick was not a good one. Derek Mason, his longest of the year was against the Steelers, only 21 yards. He lets it go, and a beautiful kick. Ruin, little backspin, and it'll be the Titans at the 8-yard line when we return. 10 minutes plus remaining in the opening half. College audience here. The enthusiasm of these Tennessee fans have plenty to cheer about early. 14-0, and the Titans 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns, start deep this time at their 8-yard line. McNair, and a fumble is out. A scramble, and it appears the Steelers have it at the 9-yard line. Lee Flowers was around the ball, and as they get up, it is Flowers who covered it for Pittsburgh, and that's exactly what Bill Cowher's team needed.
If you're Pittsburgh, you couldn't even dream about anything better than this. Eddie George takes the handoff and bumps into his own guy. He runs right into the back of Ackerman, and the ball comes loose. He runs right into the back of his left guard, Ackerman, and he didn't have the ball put away enough, and it comes loose. And the only people close are the Steelers, and Lee Flowers just gobbles it up.
Casey Hampton surged defensively, pushing Ackerman back into the ball carrier. Here's the bus. The bus out of the garage, but unable to get that motor into high gear. No gain. Jerome Bettis, what a great player he's been. He's currently the number 10 rusher in NFL history. 11,542 yards. Only 666 this year. That's subpar for Bettis. Now in his 10th season out of Notre Dame. Maddox to the end zone. Touchdown, Hines Ward. Ward, who was the number 2 pass catcher in the league this year with 112, and a dozen of those touchdowns, finds the end zone quickly for the Steelers.
The perfect tonic for Pittsburgh. Their offense kept the ball for 9 plays, gave their defense a little rest. The first time the defense gets on the field, they force a turnover, and their offense capitalizes on it. And all of a sudden, the Steelers, who had 1 foot in the grave, all of a sudden are back with it.
And the kick is the rookie from North Carolina, Jeff Reed, a midseason pickup, and he was absolutely brilliant. 17 for 19 field goals, and he hits it directly center. 9:20 2:29 left in this opening half, and it's now 14-7 Tennessee.
By Cadillac. Bold vehicles defying convention. Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Cold, down, easy. And by Nextel. Nextel, how business gets done.
'80s Ryman Auditorium, named after Steamboat Captain Tom Ryman, home to the Grand Ole Opry radio shows from 1925 to 1974 here in the Music City. After the fumble at the 8, 2 plays later, Maddox to Hines Ward, and it's a 14-7 game. Reed's kick to the goal line, and Eddie Berlin skids down across the 15-yard line at the 17, where he is covered quickly. So with 9:23 left, Tennessee will try to bring their offensive game back to order. Ward and the Steelers are within a touchdown.
Titans with a 14-7 lead over the Steelers. Couple injury reports. Left guard Zach Pillar questionable, re-aggravated his calf for the Titans. We'll see whether he comes back. They're going to reevaluate him after the half. Questionable also is Pittsburgh linebacker Kendrell Bell, and quite frankly, I'm surprised Cowher had him go after watching him work out before the game. That pain-killing shot not as effective as it was last week against Cleveland, and he too is questionable.
And looks mighty disheartened, Bonnie. Thank you for that report. Starting from the 17 is McNair. Almost intercepted and incomplete. Oh my, was that close to another 7, or are they calling it a catch? Jason Gilden had his hands on it. Drew Bennett was fighting for it.
And then Bennett may have come down with the football. Where's one, Karam? There's Bennett, and he does. Bennett catches the football.
So close to disaster, and it winds up being a gain. Short.
It looked like Chad Scott really was the guy that had the angle on the football after it was touched, and somehow Bennett drags it out of there.
Of course, Scott playing with that cast on his broken right hand, and it looked as if right tackle Fred Miller pulled back early. Miller, the former St. Louis Ram. False start called on him. Trouble with the
Ron Blum's microphone isn't working very well.
For complete coverage of the divisional playoff games, including our exclusive photo gallery, go to CBSSportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline. Eddie George eyeing that defense, and it's McNair going deep for Derek Mason, and it is intercepted by Chad Scott. Scott down by contact at the 40, and now the momentum, how quickly it has swung to Cowher's side of the field.
Well, it looks like Derek Mason separates himself and pulls away from Chad Scott, but this ball is underthrown by Steve McNair. As they pull abreast, there Mason pulls ahead, but you can see the ball is underthrown, and that's what allows Chad Scott to intercept it. If that ball is thrown a couple yards farther down the field, Dick, that could have been a big play for the Titans. Instead, the reverse.
Scott, such an important addition to that defensive secondary, which was really carved up by Kelly Holcomb in Cleveland last week. Down the toss for Burris, complete at the 20-yard line as Burris outfought Samari Roll for the catch.
He outfights double coverage, and when I saw Tommy Maddox release the football, I'm going, wow, this guy is a gambler that he's going to throw into double coverage. You got corner safety Lance Schulters to the inside. Schulters doesn't get deep enough.
Hines Ward as he smacked hard on the tackle from Andre Dyson, the second-year corner from Utah. That was a 40-yard catch previously to Plexico Burris. And here's where size really pays off.
Well, and confidence, and look at it, Tommy Maddox realizes that he's got a receiver that has the talent of a Plexico Burris. Take a chance. And that was a chance that paid off.
Second down and a long 6. Bettis in the backfield behind Kreider. Tries the middle. Able to get down to around the 12-yard line to bring up third down.
There is the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Hall of Fame member Dan Rooney. Of course, his father Art, also a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And if there has been a model of consistency in the ownership ranks in the National Football League, exemplified by Dan Rooney.
70th year under the Rooney leadership. Dad started the franchise 1933. Third down and 3. Maddox, quick hitter, incomplete. Burris, the ball was thrown a little behind him, and Samari roll with the coverage, and Burris holding his back as he rolls over.
That was just a bad throw by Tommy Maddox. He's got Burris for a touchdown if this is a well-thrown ball, but it's way back behind Plex.
In fact, Roll was already slipping down on the coverage. See, he was getting back up off a knee.
Yeah, he knows that's just, I had him and I just threw it behind him. And right now, how seriously is Plexico Burris hurt? He hit awfully hard.
So we'll take a break. 6:51 left in the second quarter.
CBS is sponsored by Miller Lite. Life is best told over a great tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time. And by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest lasting trucks on the road.
And on fourth down, we'll get you a report on Burris as soon as we hear one. This is Jeff Reed to try a 30-yard field goal. Young man they call Quadzilla because of his large thighs. He pounds this one. It is good. It just did sneak in that right upright. And it's 14-10.
One thing about the Steelers field goal kickers, if you miss a few, your nickname is Gonzilla.
Oh, you couldn't wait.
He snuck that in, and there's Kay Cower, Bill Cower's wife, and she's been through this before.
Great athlete herself at North Carolina State.
Quite a basketball player. Their daughters are basketball players, and a pretty athletic Cower family. And the Steelers all of a sudden are back in this game.
Thanks to an interception and a fumble recovery.
Kay knows it's only the second quarter, though. There's a long way to go. And again, Plexico Burris is working hard to try to get his. He landed so hard on his back and his back hip area.
And you were pointing out during the commercial breakdown, unlike your day, players just don't wear a lot of hip pad protection, or none at all.
Well, you look at a lot of receivers, they don't have it. Thigh pads to speak of, knee pads anymore. They look good, but a situation like this, he may have wanted to pad up a little more.
Kick is headed toward Eddie Berlin at the 5-yard line. Picks up the muff. And then pays for his mistake at the 17. You saw the yellow flag fly.
There is a flag on the return.
In that melee, we saw an early holding call, and it'll go against Tennessee. That'll back them up inside the 10-yard line.
And this first quarter, where the Titans fans here at the Coliseum were yucking it up with a 14-0 lead, that seems like a long time ago now, doesn't it?
Number 29 of the return team. Pass the distance to the goal. First down.
A reminder, Monday on the Late Show, Dave's all new with the Guardian star Simon Baker. And later this week, don't miss George Clooney, Claire Danes, and Marv Albert's best sports bloopers of 2002. It's all here in the Late Show. David Letterman.
And there goes Plexico Burris up into the Pittsburgh locker room. And that is just well, I don't say just a big loss. It's bigger than that for this Steeler passing game. Such an integral part of it.
McNair gives it to George, who is smacked in the backfield and doesn't gain a yard. Jason Gilden slashing in from that defensive left side. Oh, what a game tomorrow. Chad Pennington and the Jets against MVP Rich Gannon and the Raiders. An AFC divisional showdown that will complete the 4 games of the weekend and decide a trip to the AFC Championship. It all begins with Jim, Dion, Dan, Boomer's special playoff edition of NFL Today. Second down. Well, George did pick up a yard. McNair has it batted in the air, incomplete. And it was fortunate that defensive lineman Casey Hampton and Von Oelhoffen had turned their back, didn't see where the ball was flopping. Larry Foote came through from a linebacker position.
Yeah, Foote coming in there from the left side, comes in. He's not a factor other than he had a good shot at McNair and didn't hit him. But Casey Hampton, the #1 draft choice of a couple of years ago, Foote, you don't get many free runs at a quarterback like that. You got to do more than just run by him behind him. He didn't even feel the breeze of you going by.
3rd down and 9. Fans starting to feel a little desperate here as Robert Holcomb gives them hope. And Holcomb has a first down out to the 20-yard line. He's a good change of pace back. You've got George, who's a banger and a grinder, and then Holcomb much quicker, 215 pounds.
Now this a huge hole for Robert Holcomb on the right side. Freddie Miller and DiNapoli and Olsen, boy, do they do a superb job of clearing everybody out. And what a collision with Chris Hope. Helmet to helmet, whack. And again, we see the power of these Tennessee running backs. They don't go backwards when they get hit like that.
6 for 6 on 3rd down now for Tennessee. Here's George. And he's cut down after a gain of 1 as Flowers came up from his safety spot. Bonnie, what do you have for us?
All right, well, Plexico Burress, as you saw, went into the locker room. He has a left injury, and they're going to check him out in the locker room. Right now, he's questionable. His replacement will be Terrence Mathis-Dick, who only had 23 catches during the season, but remember, he was the all-time leading receiver for the Falcons. He's a veteran, and he should fill in well.
And one of the great pass receivers in the league through the years. Most of those catches at Atlanta after he was drafted by the Jets. Underneath, it's Frank Wycheck, the tight end, and he's across the 30. That'll be good for a first down, and Foote took the feet of Wycheck out of bounds.
When this game is over, you're just going to see on the play-by-play a couple of first downs for the Tennessee Titans. And I don't know what will happen the rest of this drive, but these 2 first downs, keeping the Pittsburgh offense off the field, letting their defense kind of gather themselves a little bit. They'll go down as just 2 first downs, but Dick, they're bigger than that.
Absolutely, especially that 3rd down run by Holcomb. They would have had to punt from their end zone. Underneath, complete again. Wycheck again to the 40 and a gain of 9. James Ferrier with a tackle. Wycheck now with 4 catches and about 40 yards on the game. Frank is just a dozen away from 500 receptions as a tight end. He'd be one of only 4 men in NFL history to play tight end to catch 500 balls. Second and 1. The throw to Mason. That was interesting. That was definitely a head and eye fake. It looked as if McNair threw that ball out of the corner of his eye.
Well, that was kind of the result, too, because the ball landed about 6 yards out of bounds. Let's look at it here. Steve's looking that way, and then this thing just took off and sailed out of his hands. Actually, the result of that pass was if he wasn't looking at all.
That was a weird reaction. Maybe he was turning his head opposite of the direction he was throwing.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it ended up.
3rd and 1. Holcomb is in the backfield. McNair's going to run it. Flag down. And McNair tackled at the 42. That'll be a first down. Foote seeing unexpected full-time duty with the injury to Kendrell Bell made the play. The flag was thrown in the secondary. And it's against the Steelers. So a first down whether they take the run or the penalty.
Legal hands to the face. Number 20, defense. 5 yards, first down.
Dwayne Washington defending at the corner, got his hand up around the face of the receiver. Well, from the inside the 10-yard line, the Titans now out to the 42-yard line.
Pretty good left jab that time by Dwayne Washington as he just clips the face mask of Drew Bennett. That was the judges at ringside would have given him a point for that.
Contact. And then the judge on the far side of the ring took the point away. Yeah. Now the 5-yard penalty takes it from the 42 to the 47. Holcomb stays in the game in the backfield.
This is a sensational drive by Tennessee to this point. I hate to use the word sensational when they haven't crossed midfield yet, but it really is.
Holcomb showing that quick start is out to the 50-yard line, a pickup of 3. Flowers the tackler. Our aerial views provided by Southwest Airlines, the official airship of Super Bowl 37. (14-10). If you're just joining us, the Titans first 2 possessions very impressively, just non-stop scores, 14-0, but 2 turnovers have led to the Steeler 10-point comeback here in the second quarter. McNair in trouble, gets it away and completes to Wycheck.
Larry Foote ran by him again.
Ferrier made the tackle just shy of the first down at the Steeler 44.
But an untouched blitzer again comes by, and Steve McNair makes everybody miss. Foote gets no part of him at all, and then Jason Gilden isn't able to bring him down, and Steve McNair does what he's been doing all these years, turns something into nothing back into something.
2-minute warning. A critical drive, don't you think, for the Titans after giving up that momentum in a 14-0
Well,
lead?
they've taken control of the game back offensively. Their 3rd down conversions in this game so far, 6 for 6. And this drive, when Pittsburgh was hot, Pittsburgh had put their 10th point on the board. Now Tennessee has just denied them the football.
They had the Titans, almost a fall by McNair, but he gets the toss away to Holcomb, and Ferrier makes the tackle, and that'll be shy of a first down. So the slip by McNair costs the chance of that play being executed cleanly and denies the first down to the Titans. So another big play for Pittsburgh.
As so often happens, the quarterback gets stepped on by one of his offensive linemen. Pittsburgh wisely here has taken a timeout. Going to try to see if maybe this punt by Tennessee doesn't, maybe it's a shank, maybe they get some good field position, and he'd like to have enough time on the clock, Bill Cowher would, to see if maybe offensively they can make something happen.
2 timeouts left for Bill Cowher, and 1:43 left in the half. And speaking of the half, stay with us. The Nextel halftime report with Jim and the gang, all the latest playoff news, plus they'll speak live with New York Jets head coach Herman Edwards. He's preparing his team to face the Oakland Raiders tomorrow in the other AFC divisional playoff game. That's all coming up on the Nextel halftime report.
Back into the Steelers.
And Juan Randall L. at the other end is Craig Hendrick. He's got that knuckleball high kick that has been effective inside the 10-yard line. It's a wobbler, and Randall L. handles it cleanly at the 18-yard line. Well, you search for stars in the draft, and the Steelers found one in Randall L. And star search has taken America by storm. CBS Wednesday nights. Little Tiffany wowed the country with her big voice last Wednesday. Who will be the next superstar hopefuls? Don't miss an all-new competition on the new Star Search, live CBS Wednesday and Thursday at 8/7 Central here on CBS, America's most watched network.
The old Steelers, this would have been automatic. Just hand the ball off, run out the clock, and trot into the locker room down by 4.
But this is the 2003 version, and they're 5 wide. Underneath as flags fly, a short completion.
If ever there was an indication of how much they've changed offensively in their philosophy, this is it right here.
And it's against the Titan defense with an automatic first down on the 5-yard penalty. And what started so beautifully for Jeff Fisher in
Legal hands
Tennessee.
to the face. Number 30, defense. 5 yards. It's an automatic first down.
Has just flown to the opposite sidelines and received happily by the Steelers and Cowher. Donald Mitchell is ticketed on that call out to the 23. With Plexico Burris back in the locker room. They're down to the rookie Lee Mays as their 4th wide receiver underneath to Hines Ward. Ward terrific in the open field and has a first down at the 37 before he can be captured. And Maddox in the hurry up. And this is the offensive structure that worked so well against Cleveland last weekend. He's got Fuamatu Mafalo with him in the backfield. To the sidelines, incomplete, intended for the veteran Terrence Mathis.
So far, this Pittsburgh offensive line has done a good job of providing Tommy Maddox with a pretty secure pocket. He's getting some good looks downfield. Hasn't been harassed all that much by Tennessee defensively. A big rookie working at right guard and Kendall Simmons, and boy, does Bill Cowher love that guy. And a Pro Bowler at left guard and Alan Faneca. So it's a pretty solid group.
On 2nd and 10 as the Titan fans try to help their defense. And Maddox goes long, has a man open. And interference will be called as Lee Mays, the rookie, was able to streak by Samari Roll. And Roll was forced to take a little grab of the jersey to slow him down.
Well, I don't know if Roll underestimated the burst that Mays has.
Pass interference.
But they are like hip to hip, and then all of a sudden, within about 3 yards, Mays separates. Watch how Mays just streaks by him, and you hate to say that's a smart play, but Samari Roll knows that's a touchdown. He has beaten me so badly that if he catches it, he's long gone.
35-yard penalty.
Yeah, he had no choice but to do that. That's how badly he was whipped.
And the Steelers with plenty of time. The throw incomplete, intended for Terrence Mathis, the veteran who is just 11 catches shy of 700 in his outstanding career. Nextel halftime report is next, folks. Again, Herman Edwards out on the West Coast will give you some insight on the Jets' feeling as they go against the Raiders again in the Coliseum tomorrow, and they'll have their analysis of the first half of this game as well. Other playoff news on the Nextel halftime report. 51 seconds left in the half. Second down play from the 28. Direct snap to Hines Ward. And he scoops to the 17. And that'll be good enough for a first down, and the Steelers immediately spend their second timeout. 43 seconds, a lifetime left for Cowher's team.
And as we look at all the things this Pittsburgh offense can do, you can't help but go back to our conversation with Bill Cowher. And he said, I realized when I finished the season one time with the #1 defense in the league, the #1 running game in the league, and that wasn't good enough to win in the playoffs. And that's when I knew we had to change offensively. I had to find a way that if we're behind, we're still competitive. And boy, have they found it. This is a wonderful illustration. Getting the football inside the 2-minute warning, spreading the field, going 5 wide, and away they go.
Without one of your best receivers available.
That's right, without Plexico Burris.
Ball's at the 17.
I'm right here.
The comeback player of the year, and is he ever? Tommy Maddox. Trying to get the Steelers the lead before the half. Throws underneath to Hines Ward. Short yardage, tackled immediately by Donald Mitchell. And you can see the signal by Maddox that he wants to get them up to the line of scrimmage and down the ball to stop the clock. They have 1 timeout remaining. 27 seconds left.
That ball was behind Hines Ward as well, who made a good catch coming back to it. If Tommy misfires in his attempt to complete a pass, a lot of times that he's a little bit behind, We saw how badly he was behind Burris on the play where Burris was hurt. You look at this one right here. Ward can't catch this in stride. He's got to go back behind it and dig it out.
Big 3rd down and 5. And he's crushed on the blitz. Lance Schulters and Donald Mitchell, 2 defensive backs, converged on him.
Well, Mitchell is totally unblocked coming around the corner, but normally coming right at you, you'd think that Maddox would see him coming, but you could see that initially Tommy Maddox wanted to work the left side of the field, and by the time he snaps his head back to the right, Donald Mitchell is only 2 steps away from him. If that would have been a pass called where they were going to work the right side of the field, he'd have seen Mitchell coming all the way and been able to get rid of it.
It'll make it a tougher field goal attempt now for Jeff Reed as they move the ball back to the 21, so it'll make it a 38-39 yard field goal to pull the Steelers within 1 at the intermission. They called timeout and just did get it in time. There's only 4 seconds left. Reed, the kickers are such great stories anyway. Todd Peterson was having his problems both kicking and with injuries, so on November 20th they signed this young man. They had a big tryout. 4 kickers came in, and brilliantly Cowher said, here's the reason I picked Jeff Reed.
Yeah, he kept him because of the 4 kickers. Reed was the youngest. None of the 4 distinguished themselves. He said, oh, what the heck, we'll just keep the youngest guy.
39-yard attack. And the young guy skids another one through. 2 for 2, and he took paint with both of them.
Oh, boy. He got that right inside the out-of-bounds marker.
What a first half as Reed uses all of that space tenderly through the yellow, and it's 14-13 at the break. Not a bad half of football.
Yeah.
Even he was surprised it didn't look like it wanted to hook. 14-13. Let's go to Bonnie.
Jeff Fisher, you had a 14-point lead. How frustrated are you that turnovers allowed Pittsburgh to get back in it?
I mean, you would expect them to be able to capitalize off the turnovers, especially with the first one where we gave them the ball, and that's the difference. You know, we played good the first quarter, didn't play good second quarter, and we're going to go regroup and come out.
You said you were worried about your players being over-anxious. Do you talk to them again at halftime about that?
No one's over-anxious right now. They know we're playing a real good football team, and, you know, we just got to play better. You know, we got to settle down, play, and, you know, they did a great job stopping that 3rd and 1 right there, and they picked points up off it. So we get convert that 3rd down, you know, who knows what happens.
Coach, thank you.
So the Titans score 14 in the first, and the Steelers answer with 13 in the second quarter. A 1-point game at the break. Coming up next is the Nextel halftime report after this message and a word from your local station.
The Nextel halftime report. Nextel, bringing you wireless solutions.
And it is halftime, 14-13 lead for the Titans. Jim Nantz on the Nextel halftime report, along with Dan Dion and Boomer. Exciting first half. Really the tale of 2 different, quarters there, with Pittsburgh coming back from a 14-0 deficit in 1 play. Absolutely turned it around. Eddie George had not fumbled in his last 255 touches, leading 14-0. The Steelers got right back after that turnover. And I got to go back to the NFL today. And Dan, you said Tommy Maddox at the start of this game has to be on target, cannot make any mistakes.
Well, he has a tendency at times to get his team behind because he makes mistakes, throwing interceptions. He threw a bad pick on his first throw of the game. And it got the Tennessee Titans going on their momentum. You see them rolling out right here. But fortunately, they're able to come back, and they come back where they get within 3 points, or within 1 point, yes, before the half.
Well, I'll tell you, when you look at the Tennessee Titans, you say, wow, it was up to Eddie George. But, you know, Tommy Maddox had another shot at a big play, and that was a pass to Plexico Burris right here. He's wide open. Samari Roll falls down. But Plexico Burress comes down on his left hip, goes off the field. We do not know whether or not he's going to return. You got to wonder how that injury is going to play out as this game plays on.
It's going to be a big loss. Also, Steve McNair did just as I expected. They came out there, they spread this team. They spread this. We said it on the NFL. They spread this team out, and what he does a draw 3rd and 7. He runs a draw right up the middle of the team. If you can spread Pittsburgh out, you can be successful. But they were a little vulnerable after throwing an interception and fumbling. Now they get a little tentative, and they went back to the running game. But they've controlled the ball 18 minutes time of possession.
And
That's
a
key factor.
Exactly what you talked about on the NFL today. They were going to have the no back and spread them out, and he'd run with it.
And the Steelers haven't been able to run it at all.
No, not a bit. All right, guys, a reminder, tomorrow the NFL Today will come your way at a special time, 4 Eastern, and then at 4:30, the Jets and Raiders battle for a trip to the AFC Championship game. Joining us now live from Millbrae, California, where the Jets are headquartering, there he is, Herman Edwards, head coach of the Jets, and great to have you with us, Herm, and this remarkable turnaround after that 1-4, 2-5 start for the Jets. Looking back on it now, you had that one little confrontational moment with the media where someone was trying to accuse your team of quitting. What was the one thing to turn the season around for the Jets?
Well, I thought obviously it was our coaches and our players just believing in that we could still win games. And I thought we all took hold of that, and our whole goal was just try to win a game. And obviously we went through the rest of the season with that one thing in mind, try to win one game, and then next week play the next game and try to win that one.
Coach Boomer Esiason here, you know, former Jet quarterback, and as I watch your young quarterback, Chad Pennington, play, could you have ever imagined the poise at which he's playing with?
No, and I just think that's something that every week he gains more poise and more presence, and I think the guys around him have really been a factor for that also. I think our whole football team has gotten better. Our players have played better on both sides of the ball, and obviously Chad has done a great job for us.
Coach, this is Dion. Before we came on the air live, we talked about you playing with 2 new cornerbacks, which is virtually impossible. 2 new cornerbacks coming into a system, going up against Tim Brown, Jerry Rice, and Charlie Garner, also Porter. Now, this is going to be a tough matchup, Coach. How do you think your cornerbacks will fare in this game?
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, they have an excellent receiving crew, and they do a great job of throwing the ball around to all those guys. I think our underneath people really have to play well, and that's not only the corners, but the underneath guys. The nickelback players like Ray Mickens, our linebackers, will have to match up when we play zones against these guys, because if they get on a roll, they're hard to stop.
Coach, last game you played against Oakland, Curtis Martin only had 26 yards rushing. How important is it going to be to get him going in this game to win?
Well, it's important for our offense. I think it makes us two-handed, and you never want to play the Raiders as good as they are being a one-handed offense. I think we need to try to establish that, and there's no doubt about it, and that's something we've talked about. It's something we're going to try to get done.
Hey, Coach, New York just going wild about this team, and I understand you talked to your players, though, about a lesson learned from the Giants' loss out at San Francisco. What did you tell your team?
Well, basically, in close games, you have to keep your composure, I think. And I think turnovers and you keeping your composure down the stretch are the things that are critical in playoff games. As you look at today's games, there's been a couple of miscues, and they've, penalty-wise, and all of a sudden you turn the ball over, it gets the other team momentum. And that's how playoff games are generally played, momentum swings. And you don't want to lose a football game because you lost your composure and you put yourself in bad position.
All right. I was going to say, you talk about composure, Coach. I know some of your offensive linemen have questioned whether or not they're defensive linemen, and then their defensive linemen question your offensive line. How do you keep everybody in line here?
Well, I think what you do is you understand that in the National Football League, everyone gives everyone the business, and that's just part of the league. I mean, you're going to give a guy the business, but you have to know when you have to cut it off. Obviously, I want our team to play on the edge. They need to play on the edge. I mean, but you don't want to go over the edge.
Hey, Coach, we look forward to a little business out there tomorrow as the Jets and Raiders try to settle things one more time out there. And again, congratulations on a great season.
Good luck, Coach.
Herm Edwards, head coach of the New York Jets. We'll have the Jets Raiders tomorrow right here on CBS. But first, the second half coming up from Tennessee in just a moment.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Halftime Report. Nextel, bringing you wireless solutions. Which presents the Nextel Halftime Report. Nextel, bringing you wireless solutions.
Back at the Coliseum in Nashville for this AFC playoff game with the Tennessee Titans leading 14-13. The triumphs and travails of one player personified this first half. A walk-in touchdown for Steve McNair was looking easy. 14-0 in the first quarter, but then a couple of turnovers, and the Steelers rally back. 14-13 going to the second half. Many NFL stars began their football careers by taking part in the possible future NFL star in the midst. As we go to the second half, 14-13 Titans, and they'll get the ball first. Jeff Reed has it teed up, kicking to Justin McCarrons and John Simon of the Titans. Reed, who just did slip a couple of field goals inside the upright, very short as the wind is picked up, and John Simon comes up with a return and is toppled at the 33-yard line. So Steve McNair and the Titans will go to work and hope they can capture the magic with which they started this game.
Yeah, it was all Tennessee the first quarter, and then Pittsburgh, because of some Tennessee turnovers, was able to climb back into it. And from a confidence standpoint, I can't imagine how valuable that was for Pittsburgh. Bill Cowher had so many things to talk to his team about that really would have been uplifting, especially given the fact that they came from behind last week.
They start with Eddie George, and he is stuffed for a yard loss as Casey Hampton.
Did he lose? Pittsburgh's acting like he lost the ball.
They did, and they recovered it. As Aaron Smith next to Hampton
and George
picked up the loose ball.
And Eddie George acted like the hit hurt him in such a way. He wasn't even scrambling for that ball.
Look at the jaw. And George may be the injured player in the midst.
I'm sure that's Eddie George. You could tell by the way that he was lying there on the field that he wasn't even scrambling for the football. Let's see. Oh, it's a helmet-to-helmet hit. Casey Hampton, his helmet just hits Eddie George. Look at that, right on the Tennessee logo, and the ball comes out, and Eddie George makes no effort to go after it. Eddie George is out.
And so the Steelers on the first play of the second half come up with a big break.
For the private use of our audience, any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Eddie George being attended to. It was tough to see the fumble, and here's why.
Well, Eddie George just takes a vicious helmet hit from Casey Hampton. The ball comes out, but Eddie George limply falls right on top of the ball. Look how it comes under his body, but the whistle doesn't blow.
And Aaron Smith just reaches in and plucks it out of there.
And Pittsburgh, and Tennessee rather, is going to challenge this. But this is all about when the whistle blew. But you can make a strong argument that the play's over right there, that Eddie George is on top of the football. This is really interesting. Certainly it's a fumble. No doubt of that. But you can also make an argument that even though he doesn't know it, that Eddie George has recovered it.
And his teammate, one of the offensive linemen for the Titans, all he had to do is just tuck it back in there or cover it himself.
The fact that it's a fumble is beyond dispute.
Let's see, maybe if we pick up our audio here, whether we can hear a whistle. There's the whistle.
Well, the whistle did not blow. So the official saw the football come out, rules it a fumble by not blowing the whistle, and thus by not blowing the whistle, in my mind, is declaring to everyone that it's a live football.
And George, at that moment, seemed to be KO'd, had no opportunity or the presence to just reach and tuck it under his body.
By the fact that the whistle didn't blow, that tells me, and I think all 22 players on the field, that it's a live football and that Aaron Smith did the right thing by digging it out.
After reviewing the play, the ball carrier fumbled the ball on the way down And when he landed on the ground, he was laying on top of the ball, but without control of the ball. The ball was then picked up by a Pittsburgh player. It is a first down for Pittsburgh. Tennessee
I think Ron Blum's ruling is accurate there. And the whole key to that was the fact that the whistle did not blow. The officiating staff on the field, by not blowing the whistle, was declaring to everybody on the field that it was a live football and it would behoove someone to recover it.
And that someone was Aaron Smith, who alertly said, hey, that just might be ours, and it is.
Now, having said that, Dick, you couldn't blame the officials if they blew the whistle at that moment when Eddie George was on top of the ball. You could not have faulted them for doing that, but they didn't.
Absolutely. So what a break for Maddox and the Steelers. A chance to take the lead with a fumble to start this second half. Zeraway, quiet in the first half. He's ripping here in the second half. All the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Steelers.
And that is why Amos Zeraway is the feature back in this Pittsburgh offense now, because of that explosiveness and the ability to just take a relatively mundane play and turn it into a touchdown.
He's not much of a target, only 5'8", but carries 210 pounds plus. Bench presses 500 pounds, and you saw his strength in breaking tackles as one play after the fumble, Zeraway to the end zone, 31 yards in the score.
And Tennessee has lost the lead, and the question is, have they lost Eddie George?
Jeff Reed to try the extra point. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have taken the lead for the first time in the game. A flag is down on the extra point. As you see, Zeraway once again, Lance Shoulder trying to block him down. That didn't work, and finally Dyson got to him, but too late.
That was hardly a textbook tackle attempt by Lance Schulters. Just going in there, look. Your description of it as a block was exactly what it looked like.
Zeraway, quite a story himself this year. They found a tennis ball sized cyst on his liver back in April, and they didn't want to operate. He was taking 16 pills a day to have it dissolved. It finally did.
Good. There is no foul on the play. The defensive player did not use an offensive player for leverage. We're picking the flag up.
So no penalty. It remains 20-14, 20 unanswered Pittsburgh Steeler points. Let's see how the Titans respond. We're just a half minute into this second half.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. Staples, get back time. Go to Staples. And by the all-new Accord from Honda. It's more Accord than ever.
Here in the Music City, if you want something from your favorite country and western star, Ernest Tubbs, a Hall of Famer. He's got it in that store, testimony to his greatness and his profession.
You can go down there and hear live music in the record store, and anybody who was ever anybody in country music has played there.
Now the Steelers, who staggered out of the gate down 14-0, suddenly early here in the second half had the lead, and into the wind, a dying high kick captured by McCarron's at the 30 and able to fight his way out to the 37 as we go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Eddie George is questionable with a concussion, and on the other sideline, the Steelers defense all hyped up because when Pittsburgh lost to Tennessee earlier in the year, Bill Cowher challenged them, saying that Tennessee was more physical. And Lee Flowers says we really took that to heart because we take so much pride in that. In this game, they said we plan to knock some heads. We want to get Eddie George out of the game. And after George's second fumble, Joey Porter on the Pittsburgh sideline said, this is our chance to take control. Let's do it now. And Amos Zeraway did the job.
And as you can see, George is on the sidelines, and Robert Holcomb takes his spot in the backfield behind Steve McNair. The temperature dropping severely here in the last half hour. Winds picked up from the north. Expected that game's end to be around 27, 28 degrees. The throw is captured. Well done by Derek Mason, who has been held in check for the most part today. First catch for Mason.
Well, turnovers have been the story. Eddie George with the first of his 2 fumbles put Pittsburgh in absolutely fabulous position. Then that underthrown ball that was intercepted by Chad Scott. And then the third Tennessee turnover, the fumble that not only knocked it out of Eddie George, but knocked Eddie George out of the game, at least temporarily, and we'll see if he can come back.
Here's his replacement, Holcomb, on 2nd and 5, and he battles within a yard of a first down out across the 45-yard line. And for the Steelers, when they have positive turnover, and of course it's the highest correlated statistic, turnovers to victory, Steelers are 8-0 on the year.
Tommy Maddox and his numbers to this point, and well, he's going to have a chance to be a hero again. With
comeback kid.
It is one of the truly outstanding stories.
Feel good
taking place in the National Football League this year, and it appears to be ongoing.
3rd and 1, and McNair, nothing on the right side, so he goes left and gets the first down. Not many quarterbacks could have pulled that one off, or would have even tried. Joey Porter, the Pro Bowler, finally got him down.
Well, let's try the right side, and of course there's nothing there. And then, you know, he could have just powered ahead, but Steve's trying to make an even bigger play. He's not afraid to spin and kick it all the way to the outside. That's the confidence he has in his running abilities.
Yeah, he was inspired by his own brother Fred, who played 15 years of pro ball, many of those years in the Arena League.
And you look at this, Dick, an empty backfield, except when McNair is the quarterback, it's not empty.
He fires complete to Wycheck, and it's to the 45-yard line of the Steelers. Flowers and Foote collaborate on the stop, and Wycheck leads all receivers with 6 catches today. And Dan, the way this wind is kicking up, I would think that when you're going right to left, it's going to get tougher and tougher to advance. The Tennessee Titans have it at their back. Triple left formation, and McNair steps from Gilden, turns the corner, and is tripped up by Foote.
Well, give Larry Foote credit. He finally got a tackle on Steve McNair. He's had a couple shots at him earlier in the game and hasn't been able to get him, and he finally was able to get him, and it looked like Steve was going to be able to run for a first down, but ooh, he just got that angle, just barely.
4th-round draft pick out of Michigan, and I don't know what his degree was in, but he's getting advanced education today here in Nashville.
Well, he got McNair by the foot, did Mr. Foote.
3rd and a long one. Tennessee is 8 for 9 on 3rd down today. No sneak this time. What protection. Someone's got to be open. The long throw. Wycheck to the 4-yard line. The tight end was open.
That's the risk of a 3-man pass rush. Then if the 5 guys up front do their job, they just snuff the 3-man rush. And look at this. Look at this. On top of it only being a 3-man rush, the 3 rushers are afraid of McNair's running ability, so that slows them down even more. And a complete whiff in the Steelers secondary. You don't lose track of Frank Wycheck.
39-yard play. 1st and goal at the 4. And Holcomb hit in the backfield. Charging through defensively. Aaron Smith and Brad Kiesel. Aaron Smith, who recovered the fumble at the start of the second half that led to the Steeler 31-yard touchdown run and the lead by Amos Zeroe. 3-yard loss on that play. McNair successful in the red zone touchdowns in the first quarter. 2 for 2. Fires to the And how appropriate. It's Wycheck with a score.
And an excellent job of changing things around for Tennessee, because in that position, that's where Eddie George is such a big part of their offense. They love to get inside the 10-yard line, and Jeff Fisher and Mike Heimerdinger just hammer away with Eddie George. But they changed. They went to the passing formation, and boy, did Steve McNair drill that baby home.
63 yards in 8 plays, and now the extra point to take the lead. And Mitnick clears it down the middle. 21-20. Frank Wycheck, 8th catch, 99 yards, and the Titans are up by 1. It was expected to be intensely tight, and that is how it has developed here early in the third quarter with 9:37 to go in the kickoff by Nedney. Lee Mays on the bounce to the 20 and to the 30-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown by Frank Wycheck, his 8th catch of the game.
I'll start counting from the top. This is the touchdown pass to Frank Wycheck, and he made it happen. Start counting from the top here. He's the 3rd guy down, and watch him just float there right around the 40. But the minute he realizes McNair has all this time, he improvises and releases downfield. That was not where Frank Wycheck was supposed to be, but he made up his mind that when he had that much time, hey, let's see if we can make something big happen.
Yeah, that put new batteries into the crowd, that touchdown march, and the lead as Arroway skips outside and makes it to the 34-yard line, a gain of 4. And Plexico Burress, good news for Steeler fans, he's back in the game. Which team has the advantage going into tomorrow's Jets-Raiders battle? I know there are plenty of opinions about that. A couple of options. Cast your vote at NFL.com. Can't wait for that one. What a game that should be. 4 wide. Maddox on 2nd and 6. Almost picked off. It was in the arms of Donald Mitchell. Antoine Randall was the intended receiver.
Well, that's what's known as a jumping on a pattern. Donald Mitchell makes a break on the ball before Randall L. even does. Randall L. slips a little bit and isn't able to make a strong drive for the ball. But Donald Mitchell was all over that. Ooh, you work on that all week long, and then when the game comes around, you don't convert.
They're on their feet here in Nashville. 3rd and 6. That's Randall L. going to throw the ball. He was a quarterback at Indiana, but not close to Hines Ward. And the Titan fans cheer their defense.
Well, that play is going to work only if Randall L., when he gets around to the outside, is a threat to run, and he brings up the defensive backs. But the fact of the matter is that John Thornton chasing him takes that away. So the DBs stay back in coverage, and Randall L. has nowhere to go with the ball.
Ruin, former Denver Bronco, into the wind. Derek Mason at the 32. Mason 40. And dragged down at the 42, but the Titans will enjoy excellent field position when we return. 8:42 left in the third, a 1-point game.
Sponsored by Circuit City. We know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. And by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Night has fallen here in the capital of the Volunteer State. Titans leading 21-20, but without their star running back Eddie George. Suffered a concussion when hit on the first play of this second half, trying to walk it off. Looks better than he did 10 minutes ago. McNair sets it up at the Tennessee 42. Guns it complete to Mason. And Mason with a first down at the Steeler 40. Foot and Alexander with a tackle.
How about Steve McNair standing in the pocket as the pocket moves right by him?
What a wonderful job of concentration by McNair. Steve McNair, look at the pressure coming in here from the left. He just, okay, that's all right. I'll just stay right here. I'll shift a little right, a little left. Until you've tried to do that, and I never have, I'm not a quarterback, I can't imagine how difficult that is.
To maintain your concentration, Mason, who did not catch a pass in the first half, being used here in the second without Eddie George. He's at the 35, and we remind you to log on to superbowl.com and get complete coverage from all of tomorrow's games. Let's take a look ahead to next week's action only at superbowl.com or on America Online. Enter keyword superbowl.com.
Your address on superbowl.com so everybody can come over for a little party?
Yeah, we'll have all my friends in San Diego. It's an open house.
Valet parking?
Yeah, valet parking. The trouble is the house isn't built yet. Wish it was built. Still isn't built.
And call you for tickets. Okay.
Right. McNair able to get wide enough to throw it away without a penalty flag as Larry Foote's catching on. He got a little more of the quarterback that time.
Larry Foote realizing this is not your ordinary Steve that he's trying to get a hold on. Look at the crossing blitz. Almost impossible to pick up. It's the toughest blitz for an offensive line to pick up when the two linebackers cross like that. It's almost, you lose sight of the one, and he does get him down, but McNair smart enough to move far enough out that he could get rid of that football without getting intentional ground.
Again, the success on third down, brilliant for Tennessee, 9 of 10. This is a third and short 4, and Tennessee required to use a timeout. 7:19 left in a long third quarter. Eddie George reduced to a role of a cheerleader as he roots for Robert Holcomb, his replacement. Holcomb, a former St. Louis Ram, part of the Rams' Super Bowl victory a few years ago. He recovered from a broken hip earlier in the season. It's a big third down and short 4. At the 34-yard line. McNair. Wide open is Watson. Almost another playground ad-lib. Just keep circling around and Big Frank will get open.
And that is what, 10 out of 11 now on third downs? I think it was 9 out of 10. I think that makes it 10 out of 11. A remarkable performance by the Tennessee Titans and Steve McNair on their performance here on third downs. It's truly remarkable. Look at that.
Wycheck matches his best game of the regular season against Washington. He caught 9 balls, 9 for 120 yards today. Holcomb dragged down at the 11-yard line, and we go down to B squared.
Well, this is Frank Wycheck's game of the year, as you mentioned, Dick, and kind of redemption for him because when they played this team, the Steelers, back on November 17th, it was the first start Frank Wycheck had missed in 111 games, and he said, this game is always big. We've always been huge rivals, and it forced me to sit back and help me appreciate how much I love this game.
Yeah, Wycheck, who loved the Eagles growing up in Philadelphia and Wilbert Montgomery, and he'll hustle home, watch the second game later, I'm certain. So far with good feelings. What a block! That's a throw. It's caught by Drew Bennett in a crowd. He picked that one like reaching up and grabbing the big apple off the top limb.
And that was Robert Holcomb, the block you were talking about, but he hurt himself on the play. Look to the right. Robert Holcomb is going to pick up the blitz. That's Aaron Smith that he drops. But Holcomb is hurt. He got up slowly, and he's had to come out of the game. A tremendous piece of work by Robert Holcomb, who's the third down back anyway for the Tennessee Titans, but he injured himself on the play.
He really gave himself up to go low on Smith. And it is just short of a first down, Dan. It'll be third and about 6 inches at the 3-yard line.
Well, you know, you could see that he got hit on the side of the neck by the leg of Aaron Smith. This Bennett has come out of nowhere. He's having himself quite a day.
Many folks know about this undrafted player 2 years ago out of UCLA. He caught 33 balls during the regular season.
Well, he just really got a chance to shine when they lost Kevin Dyson back on November the 24th, and that when he tore his hamstring against Baltimore.
Now they're down to Mike Green with both George and Holcomb out injured. And McNair trying to wedge his way for the half foot. And in that scrum, got a little extra pushing help and has the first down.
That was a scrum.
Benji Olsen, the right guard's nickname is Road Grader, and he was grading McNair, the road, the turf, and the Steelers.
That looks like the Blob. It just kept oozing forward, this whole pile of humanity. We used to have a saying, one hand grenade would get everybody. And that is the opposite of a spread formation. That is not spreading the field.
So with that squeeze for first down, it's first and goal at the 2. Holcomb is back in. The throw, touchdown. Wide open is Aaron Kinney. The other tight end, Julie Fisher, joins the Titan fans as they cheer back-to-back scores.
And we saw Kay Cower earlier. Now we see Julie Fisher, the wife of the Titans head coach. There's Kay Cower, and I'm afraid in this situation, good for one, bad for the other.
Julie, a former Rose Bowl princess. Jeff Fisher is a student at USC. Spotted her, and have a great family, obviously, here. Nedney adds the extra point. So what swings emotion and momentum in this game? Steelers go down 14-0. They rally 14-13, take the lead, and then the Titans answer with back-to-back touchdowns here in the middle of the third quarter.
And keep in mind, Tennessee is showing this kind of mettle, but we talked earlier, and this is no surprise, this team feeds off of Steve McNair. Offensively, defensively, special teams. This team, their umbilical cords of every man in a blue jersey is connected to Steve McNair, and the game he's playing today, well, it's easy to see how this team has rallied behind this guy.
1 touchdown run and 2 touchdown passes. He's counted for 3 scores. Jeff and Julie, probably in many ways the women behind the coaches feel it even more deeply. They just means so very much.
Well, to have an 8-point lead, given the fact that they've turned the football over 3 times, it's hard to do in this league, to turn the ball over like that and still be leading.
Steelers turn. Randall L. You saw the wind take that one back to the 8. Great open field tackle by Eric Morris. Big Tenner against Big Ten. Michigan State against Indiana. Well, the show that started it all is now a new hit all over again. Get your first look at the hottest stars of tomorrow when Arsenio Hall hosts the all-new Star Search live not only Wednesday but Thursday next week, 8, 7 Central here on CBS, America's most watched network.
I think the decibels will be off the chart here now.
I don't think some of these fans have ever used their seat. They've been standing since the opening kickoff. Maybe they take a break at halftime. Maddox underneath, the 0-way, short yardage across the 25. Tommy Maddox, unbelievable story. 10 years between starts. Drafted #1 by Denver as a sophomore out of UCLA. Didn't make it. Tried. Dan Reeves gave him another chance at Atlanta. The Giants gave him a chance. Couldn't make it. Out of football 3 years, selling insurance in Dallas. Came back to the Arena League, New Jersey Red Dogs. And then the LA Extremes. He just couldn't leave football behind him. 0-way in trouble. Wrapped up in the backfield by Kevin Carter. Make that Carlos Hall.
Well, Dick talked earlier about these 2 rookies, Hainsworth and Hall. and how they have really put together stellar seasons for this defensive line of the Tennessee Titans. And Carlos Hall shows his wonderful athletic abilities, getting upfield, coming back in, and making a sure tackle.
Boy, what a 7th-round draft pick.
And undersized at only 250 pounds.
3rd and a dozen. Screen incomplete, intended for Fuamatu Maufala. And this time it was Kevin Carter in the midst of things, putting pressure on Maddox.
And I think Tommy Maddox arguing that Maufala was held and wasn't allowed to catch the ball.
And so into punt, Tom Ruin. 3:08 left in the 3rd. Derek Mason back at the 40. Dying spiral right at the 40. Mason eludes the first man. Cat-like quick. 50. One man to beat Ruin. Gets by him, but he's slowed him down enough. But it's the Titans at the Steeler 30. A flag is down back at the Pittsburgh 20.
Well, if I'm Pittsburgh, I might want to argue the fact that he actually took a knee back there because he was down by contact.
Team, illegally downfield. Penalties decline.
An eligible man downfield. Of course, that's waved off, and Tennessee will take the ball deep in Pittsburgh territory. 30-yard return by Derek Mason, his longest of the season.
We've got 2 Tennessee players that are injured. Rocky Boyman, number 50, can't get off the field, and then down at the 33-yard line, we've got another player sitting there.
And that's Dyson, the starting cornerback. Andre Dyson.
So 2 players hurt for the Titans on the same play.
Dyson's name familiar. Kevin Dyson, his older brother, a wide receiver, was injured at midseason and put on the injured reserve list. Almost looks as if they're working on a cramp of that right leg. Not the same for Boyman, who limps off.
You know, if I'm Pittsburgh, I'd want to take a look at this replay right here. All right, let's watch. Does he get touched right here? Yep, he gets touched right there. The question is, did he cause him to go down? Ooh, I'm not sure his knee touched the ground.
Well,
I looked at that originally and said, you know, if I'm Pittsburgh, I'd argue that that contact caused him to go down, but I don't believe his knee ever touched.
He used his right hand to just keep that knee inches off the top of the turf.
What a job. If Derek Mason's knee would have touched the ground there, I think Pittsburgh had a legitimate complaint that that return should have been brought all the way back. But his knee, well, got within about a half an inch of the ground, but that was it.
First down, Tennessee at the Steeler 30. And there is the challenge.
They did throw it out. They threw the flag out.
Steelers have not used a timeout in the second half. Tennessee has used 2.
He's Bill Cowher talking to Ron Blum right now, trying to, you have to be specific as a coach as to what it is you're challenging. You don't just get to challenge the whole play. You have to challenge a very specific action.
In this case, undoubtedly, he's saying he was down by contact.
Well, that's sure what I'd be saying. And I thought that flag would come out long before it did.
2:53 as play is stopped here in the third quarter.
Ron Blum might be telling him that his knee didn't touch. You know, and he might be being told that that's a judgment call.
It's not reviewable. Whoop.
Oh,
that's a balk. It's almost as if he had a second thought in the middle of the windup. Perhaps we could take another look. That was a remarkable effort by Mason to be able to elude.
That his knee was down, back upfield. I don't believe that's a challengeable play, but I will double check.
Well, you know what? Kudos to Ron Blum.
Yes, honesty prevails.
That's right. He's going to check with the NFL Observer and the people upstairs. Now, I thought I thought it is reviewable. It's like they look to see whether your knee was down on a fumble, but that's a change of possession. This is not a change. They check to see whether your feet are in bounds on. This is an Hey, you live and learn in the National Football League. Almost every game you see something you didn't see before.
Now let's see how from this angle. It's hard to tell from that angle that he kept his knee off.
This angle, I think, is pretty. I think it's pretty clear that his knee doesn't touch the ground and nothing but his hand. You see if his.
It's determined that the play is reviewable. I will now review the play.
Hey, Ron, good for you.
You know, he sounded like my old biology teacher. You know, when you ask that question, I don't know the answer. I'll get back to you. I know somebody who can get it all straight.
Well, the good news for Bill Cowher is that this play is reviewable. The bad news is I think he's going to lose a timeout because I don't think it's going to get overturned.
It's under C1 on page 38. Runner ruled not down by defensive contact.
You know, the knee doesn't touch. Now, his shin touches. This is going to be fun.
Well, if his shin touches, that's not as that's down by that angle. That angle, I got to say, he's down by contact.
You know, does the shin count?
Yes.
Any part of your body other than the soles of your feet and your hand, supposedly you're down. I think he's going to be, the knee never touched, but by that angle you could really see that I think he may see that enough of his lower leg touched to call him down. I'm going to reverse myself. Now that angle that we saw how much of his leg was on the ground.
But as an announcer, is that a reversible? Did you have the right to reverse?
I've been reversed many times. But from that one angle, look how much of his lower leg's on the ground.
Yeah, it happened so quickly. You almost only because of the ability to slow-mo and stop it completely. Can you tell? Great job, men and women, with all the great replays here in the angles. Terrific job.
The league wants to see it's the soles of your feet and the hand. They're allowed to be in contact with the ground. Anything else puts you down. Now, you know, the other thing is, we're just assuming that makes him down by contact. You know, Ron Blum could say, well, you know, he slipped, and that's what made him go down, that it wasn't by contact.
Chris Hope is the man who makes contact defensively. This is a 30-yard decision, mind you.
But what if, you see my point here, what if Ron Blum says, hey, okay, granted, his shin touched, but I don't think it was because of the contact by the Pittsburgh player. There's a couple issues at play here.
See the colder weather affecting the color of the
play,
face.
The runner was touched, and his knee did hit at the 40.5-yard line. Pittsburgh has not charged a timeout. Set the clock to 2:59.
Well, they are bringing it back.
So instead of a first down, Titans at the Steeler 30.
There is an option for a penalty on an illegal man downfield that is still hanging.
We still have the option of the Steelers had an ineligible man downfield on the punt.
And I think Tennessee is going to make them punt again. So we have gone round and around and around and around, and we are right back where we started.
That play didn't even happen. Didn't even happen.
We're going to back Pittsburgh up and make them punt again.
Number 22 of the kicking team was illegally downfield. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, fourth down.
And Rowan will have to kick into the wind once again. And Derek Mason, he's already shown you how dangerous he is on kick returns. Mason, who was a Pro Bowler in 2000 when he set the NFL record, almost 2,700 all-purpose yards from this young man from Michigan State.
I just can't begin to tell you how much admiration I have for Ron Blum. Saying, you want to know something? I don't know whether that's reviewable or not. Let's find out.
That was a classic.
I think that's wonderful. I give him so much credit for saying that.
Get it right. So Rowan will take the snap just outside his goal line, and Mason creeps up closer to the 50. 28-20 the score. Tennessee leading. Shorter kick, dying spiral. Mason will have to let it bounce. Takes a Tennessee bounce and will go out of bounds around the 44-yard line. Well, tomorrow night on 60 Minutes, in a world where artists come and go before you know it, Sheryl Crow, what a rarity, on top for nearly a decade, shows beyond 60 Minutes. Tomorrow night, then find out which of your favorite stars, television, movies, and music will be the big winners on the People's Choice Awards, live tomorrow night on CBS, America's most watched network. Southwest Airlines providing our aerial coverage from Nashville this afternoon and tonight. Southwest, proud sponsor of the NFL and the official airline of Super Bowl 37 in 2 weeks in San Diego.
Well, forcing Pittsburgh to punt again sure did give Tennessee outstanding field position.
From the 44, McNair hands off to Holcomb, and Holcomb is handed off to Casey Hampton. Hampton, the second-year defensive tackle from Texas, making another big play. Here's a guy, well, they list him at 320. His legs are so big. Hines Ward and Troy Edwards last year had a pair of his shorts, gym shorts. Each one fit into one leg, and they walked around the locker room with Hampton's shorts accommodating two men.
He's stout. Is that what you're trying to say?
Tree trunks for legs. Empty backfield, McNair. Second and long. He goes long. Holcomb. Oh, didn't appear to be looking for the ball as he was covered by James Ferrier.
He either wasn't looking for it, lost track. He spun around at the. Well, the ball's back behind him.
That's it.
Yeah, the ball was well behind Robert Holcomb, who certainly had a step on Ferrier. The ball was behind him and pretty well out of bounds.
So third down and 14 as Holcomb grabs some breath on the sidelines.
So two starters for Tennessee not in the game right now. Tom Ackerman is filling in for Zach Pillar at left guard, and of course Eddie George hasn't come back since he took that really severe shot to the helmet.
That was the first play of the second half. On third and long, McNair fires long. Incomplete to John Simon, who had just entered the game, the running back who was an outstanding wide receiver at Louisiana Tech, and that nearly was 6.
Oh, how close was Simon to catching the last half of that football? Look at this thing come in here. Oh, what an effort on Simon's part, trying to catch the last 2 or 3 inches of the football.
A couple of pebbles short of the leather there to hang on. And McNair took a wallop from Porter as he threw that pass. Tennessee has to give it up. Oh, bad kick off the side of his foot and out of bounds in front of the Steelers bench around the 35-yard line. Craig Hentrick, much like Tom Ruin, these two veteran punters having a little trouble with the elements.
That wasn't even a 15-yard punt, was it? What's that thing officially? 15? Woo. Woo.
Well, we're in the midst of the excitement of the NFL playoffs, and college basketball is heating up as well. They're into the league conference season. Next Saturday, you can whip it up a big-time doubleheader. Chris Thomas and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame go to the Bluegrass country to meet Keith Bogans in Kentucky. And you'll also see some of you Illinois and Indiana. Maddox to Zaraway. And he's able to drive to the 38, 39-yard line. Zaraway, we mentioned, with that cyst on his liver and taking all the pills to take care of that. And he lost some 25 pounds. Said he really didn't feel 100% till about the 7th game of the season.
Here goes Pittsburgh with the no huddle.
.119 left in the third quarter. Steelers down by 8. Maddox, flag goes down as Plexico Burris was tackled by Samari Roll.
And a big plus for the Steelers that Plexico Burris is able to come back and play. Remember, he had to leave the field and head into the locker room with that lower back hip injury.
Holding, number 21, defense, 5 yards. It's an automatic first down.
Well, a couple times in this game so far, Samari Roll has been beaten to the point where he's had to go ahead and grab. Say one thing, he's not shy about it. When he gets
the job done.
When he gets caught in an awkward position, he just reaches out and touches someone.
We're in the Music City. I like that.
Thank you.
44-yard line. First down. Maddox has it rejected at the line of scrimmage. A good interior push by the Titans defense.
Might have been Kevin Carter. Let's see if it's Carter that gets up there and gets a hand on it. It's Kevin there, number 93. It is.
Superman Kevin Carter. He admitted he played like Clark Kent last year, but he had 10 sacks this year. Second and 10, the blitz. They pick it up, but nothing there at all. As big Albert Haynesworth, the rookie nose tackle from Tennessee, and Peter Sermon, the linebacker, team up to make the stop.
Haynesworth came out of Tennessee after his junior year, and these Titans could not have been happier with the way this first-round draft choice has played like a veteran.
No gain, 3rd and 10. Jeff Fisher sends in a couple extra defensive backs, takes out a couple of big linemen. Down to 31 seconds in the third. And Pittsburgh is going to spend their first time out. Tennessee's already used 2. They lost 1 on a challenge. Sunday on CBS. Don't miss the One Award Show where your vote counts. See your favorite movie, TV, music stars on the People's Choice Awards live Sunday, 9, 8 Central here on CBS, America's most watched network. Well, we hope you're enjoying the action from Nashville tonight and tomorrow. Chad Pennington, the Jets, Rich Gannon, the Raiders. The winner of that game to meet the winner here. If the Raiders win, the winner of this game will go to Oakland this weekend. Should the Jets pull the upset, then the winner of this game will host the AFC Championship next week. And, of course, our guys in New York, Jim Nantz and his fine team, will have it all set up for you on the NFL Today. Tennessee dominating in yardage here in the third quarter after Pittsburgh had taken the lead early in the third period, 20-14. Here comes Tank Williams on the blitz, and they throw right behind him, complete to Terrence Mathis, and the veteran gets a Pittsburgh first down at the 44 of the Titans.
A perfect team effort by Pittsburgh. Picking up the blitz, Mathis changing his route to the quick slant. Perfect read by everybody in a white jersey that time.
Maddox checks the clock, sees there's less than 10 seconds, decides not to hurry up. What a third period. And the score, the Titans 28, the Steelers 20, will return to the Coliseum in Nashville, Tennessee, right after this word from your local station. "15 days to San Diego and 15 minutes away from advancing one of these two teams to the AFC Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the south.
Couldn't have been happier standing there in a Steeler jersey. And the winner, what was his name, Patrick? And he gets booed.
Proudly wearing his Pittsburgh home colors. What a great program. 3.5 million kids participating.
Jim Schwartz, the Tennessee defensive coordinator. He's got a vested interest in this first down play.
As we open the fourth quarter at the 44 of the Titans, and Zeraway vaults his way for a couple, and a flag flies. A late flag often thrown when that tight end is holding. Back judge fired it.
There is no foul on the play. Block was above the waist. Second down.
Well, it was not a low block and no penalty, a 2-yard gain as we open this fourth quarter. Dick Embertan, Theodore Funny Bird's team from Nashville, Tennessee. 68,000 sellout. The winner advances to the AFC Championship game. Tommy Maddox and the Steelers beat Cleveland last week in the wild card. They trail the Titans 28-20. Maddox fires. Open is Randall L, and he skids down at the 34-yard line. Keith Bullock there to cover as Maddox and the Steelers using that no huddle.
And it's an offense that they have used with some regularity, and they planned on using it today. Whether they were in the lead or trailing, this is a plan by the Steelers. But it's been a very effective offense for them.
First down inside the 35, 5 wide receivers. Good protection. Maddox throwing incomplete to the tight end, Jeremy Tooman. Good pressure from Robert Smith and Kevin Carter.
Number 84, Jeremy Tooman.
Maddox is used to high-scoring games. What did he tell us in the Arena League? He once scored 75 points for Jersey and lost by 1.
He said our team averaged 58 points a game, and we were 5-9. Talk about not playing any defense.
Maddox on 2nd and 10. Underneath, incomplete. Was it picked off? No. Hit the ground.
From up here, it looked like it was another throw behind the receiver by Tommy Maddox. You know, you like to put the ball out in front, and a good job by the officiating staff of seeing that it one-hopped right in there.
And Keith Bullock is down for the Titans. Yeah, Dane and Sidney kind of skidded along the ground with it, and players are so good at that without instant replay, how many plays would go catches or interceptions? It's only the advance of television and being able to show it slow motion that reveals how clever the talent is of these NFL players. There's a timeout. Back in Nashville, look at the game summary. Turnover is the key to the Steelers. 17 points off turnovers. 3rd down and 10 at the 34, Tennessee. Maddox underneath the corner, the fullback. Not enough for the first down as he's knocked out at the 26-yard line, 2 yards shy.
Well, the question is, did that completion get Reed within field goal range? And I think when Tommy Maddox let that go, he knew that it wasn't really a first down type of pass, but certainly it helps his field goal kicker a great deal.
It'll be a 45-yard attempt, but remember that Bill Cowher and the Steelers have a bag full of special plays. You always have to be alert for a fake. Not this time, and not this time does he make it. He's been flirting with those uprights in the other 2 field goals. This one with a late hook misses wide left. Steelers are still a touchdown and 2-point conversion from a tie.
Sponsored by Subway. Fresh made sandwiches on fresh baked bread. Subway, eat fresh. Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you. And by the all-new 220 horsepower Mazda 6 Sports Sedan.
Getting cozy here, according to our CBS affiliate here in Nashville. Temperature down to 24 degrees. Eddie George on the sidelines after being KO'd on the first play of the second half on a helmet-to-helmet hit. Has not seen action since. Taking over after the missed field goal, the Titans at the 35, and Holcomb replacing George, unable to get back to the line of scrimmage as he's met by safety Lee Flowers. Let's go back to the play that started this second half. Well, first, Eddie George, a couple of fumbles. It wasn't a great day for him, and Casey Hampton was in the middle of both.
Yeah, after jumping out to a 14-0 lead, the first fumble by Eddie George really let Pittsburgh back into this ball game, allowed them a quick score and to get back to 14-7. But that shot that he took from Casey Hampton where he fumbled the ball, I don't think anybody can blame Eddie George for that. That knocked him out temporarily.
McNair unable to find his favorite target, Frank Wycheck. Joey Porter applying pressure as we go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Dick, you get the impression it's really not Eddie George's choice not to be back in the game. He has been up and walking around on the bench the entire time. In fact, at one point, he took his jacket off and he was running back and forth, and it looked like he might get the opportunity to go back in, only to put that jacket back on. But a terribly frustrated Eddie George pacing on the sidelines.
Well, that decision is not Eddie George's, and it's really not Jeff Fisher's either. It's the Titans medical staff that makes the call after a player gets a concussion. I'm sure Eddie would like to play, and I'm sure Jeff would like him to play, but that's up to the doctors.
3rd and 10, McNair shotgun. And action before the snap. Fred Miller, the right tackle.
It's one thing for an offensive tackle of the visiting team to be jumping off sides and false starting, but for the home team.
Before the ball was snapped, false start. Number 71, offense, 5 yards. Repeat 3rd down.
This play didn't look good from the start. It looked like there was a whole bunch of people that weren't organized, but Fred Miller goes first, and that's his 2nd false start of the game. This field just isn't great to Fred. As a visiting member here one time of the St. Louis Rams, Fred had 6 false starts in one game. I think that's partly why he came to Tennessee, so he wouldn't have to come here as a visitor anymore. But he's been a good, solid player for the Titans other than that.
He has indeed.
Yeah, he's a good football player.
On the blitz, McNair is hit, and his pass flies high over Aaron Kinney's head. Deshae Townsend from a corner. A defensive back able to get in on McNair.
McNair's enjoyed pretty good protection all day, and on this play he's got the heat coming in from Townsend, and the play before it was Joey Porter that was right in Steve McNair's face. So on both 2nd and 3rd down, McNair really didn't have much of an opportunity for a completion.
Hendrick to kick, and the Titans, this is not one of their strengths. Punt return coverage. They gave up 3 touchdowns in the regular season. Antoine Randall-El.
Look out.
And flags fly. Several.
This is coming back. This doesn't matter where he goes. There was a block in the back.
But it shows you the brilliance of this rookie from Indiana who thought he had scored a touchdown, and so did his teammates. But there were 2 or 3 illegal blocks.
I think Bill Cowher is saying I wouldn't have thrown that flag.
Oh, he's ready to throw the headset, though.
Oh, did his team need that?
Randall-El, who, after muffing a punt last week against Cleveland, skittered 66 yards for a score, has such beautiful feet. He's just so light on his feet and quick.
Return. Illegal block in the back. Number 45 of the return team. 10 yards. 1st down. Timeout.
Fuamatu Ma'afala guilty of the illegal block. Clock stopped. 12:16 left in the 4th.
Look at the very upper right corner of our screen. You'll see the block in the back right there by Chris Fuamatu Ma'afala. And it was a good call by the officiating staff. There's no doubt that he did it. It was right in the middle of the field, and it really negated a brilliant run by Antoine Randall-El.
Who gets the call on this play and gets about 10 or 11. So quick around the corner is Randall-El. All he did at Indiana was set NCAA records. He's the only man ever to pass and run for 40 touchdowns in a career. He's the only man to ever pass for 6,000 and rush for 3,000 in his career. Many felt he should have had stronger Heisman candidate attention last year.
Something like 11,300 yards of total offense during a collegiate career. That doesn't seem right.
He lasted till the 62nd player picked in the draft. Maddox done set away, and he is drilled by Tank Williams, the 225-pound rookie safety.
I think we see where he got the name Tank. What a hit that was.
Yeah. Fisher said he's exceeded our highest expectations as a rookie. 2nd down. Maddox batted down by Albert Hainsworth.
Major credit to Amos Zaraway for holding on to this football. There aren't many guys that could have done that. Is this? And there's the Batted ball by Albert Hainsworth. The question there is, did Tank Williams helmet-to-helmet hit on Amos Zaraway? That
appeared to be the case. Third down, a big 3 for the Steelers. Maddox, wide open is the veteran Mathis, and he has the first down at the 26-yard line. Williams and Sidney with a tackle, and what a throw by Maddox.
And this is a laser by Tommy Maddox, and he put it out in front of the receiver. He gave his guy a chance to make a good play on the football.
Andre Dyson, who's been out for a couple of series with an unknown injury, has returned to the lineup. Jeff Fisher needs him in there as Maddox goes back to work. Screen to Kreider. No, it's Fuamatu Ma'afala, and he is tackled by Bullock after a short gain.
That play should have gone nowhere. Fuamatu Ma'afala broke a tackle and picked up 5 yards on a play that could have lost 2 or 3.
We understand that Andre Dyson, back in the lineup, is playing with a right shoulder sprain. They need his coverage. 2nd and 5. 28-20. The Steelers trail by 8. Quick throw, complete. That's Hines Ward. Touchdown.
They've got to go for 2. Steelers, I'm assuming, have been working on a 2-point play here over on the sideline in anticipation of this.
21-yard touchdown, about a 5-yard pass, and then Hines Ward, who's such a terrific runner in the open field. He was a college running back at Georgia before being switched to wide receiver.
How about his ability to catch that ball and stop the way he did right here? Look at that. How do you stop so much momentum going one direction and reverse field the way Hines Ward did there?
Steelers lead the NFL in the regular season. They made 3 2-point conversions. No, Ward alone made 3.
And remember, they got about 4 guys in their lineup there that can pass.
That's one of them in motion. Randall L.
Here's
to
another
Ward. Is he going to throw? Yes. And it works to Plexico Burris. We're tied at 28. 10 minutes and 9 seconds to go. Ward with a touchdown catch and then a 2-point throw to tie the score.
CBS is sponsored by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. And by IBM, taking business to the next level with e-business on demand.
Along the banks of the Cumberland River, welcome back to Nashville, where the Steelers have come back to tie the game on a touchdown and 2-point conversion, and Reed to kick it off. It's Simon and McCarron's back for the Titans. With the win, it down to the 5. John Simon, the rookie. And he carries to the 24-yard line where Chris Hope makes the tackle. Let's go back to that 2-point play.
Well, it is a game of inches. Okay, it's a backward pass to Hines Ward. Watch how close. First, Lance Schulters right here. Oh, and then Keith Bullock, secondly, nearly touched the ball that Ward throws to Plexico Burris. Lance Schulters and Keith Bullock, it goes right between them. How well done was that by the Steelers, who, of course, have so many people able to make a play like this worth in their arsenal. It's really, you know, you talk about Mike Mularkey having a lot of different directions in which to go.
Ward was an outstanding high school quarterback. Did a good job of eluding that pressure to make the play happen. And now it's McNair going long. Intercepted by Deshae Townsend. And Townsend with the 4th turnover for the Steelers today. Intended for Derek Mason, and Pittsburgh in this tie game gets it right back.
And that, I think, is an illustration of Steve McNair trying to throw a long pass into the wind, and that ball hung up on him. Again, underthrown. That's the main reason for this interception. Certainly a wonderful play by Deshae Townsend, but both Both Mason and Townsend have to come to a stop just about to wait for this football. It's tough to throw it long into this wind.
First down, Steelers at the 43, and Jerome Bettis is in the backfield. Bus revving up his motor. Offside on the Titans. The throw. Oh, Hines Ward is hit, and a flag goes down. That was a helmet-to-helmet.
I think Schulters is going to get tagged.
And how does Ward get back up on his feet after that hit?
Well, you could hear the crack of that all the way up here in the booth like it was only 10 feet away.
Ward with 112 catches on the season, second only to marvelous Marvin Harrison of the Indianapolis Colts. And his toughness, no one questions that. A great blocker, and he also leads the league in smiles. He smiles even when he's unhappy. 6 feet and 200, and he's quite a package. And Maddoxon chewing things with what's Derek Mason doing out there?
Well, Jeff Fisher's well out onto the field as well. That's right, Jeff. Get everybody back on your sidelines.
Side, number 91 defense. Penalties decline. Personal foul. Helmet-to-helmet hit on the receiver, number 31. That's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the run.
The question is going to be, does he turn himself into a weapon?
Yeah, look more
from that
shoulder
angle,
there.
it did look like a shoulder. Oh, I think that's a bad call. My initial reaction is that he hits him with a shoulder.
I think it was the attacking, launching way in which he went into the Hines Ward that drew the attention and the flag.
Could we look? And there's a question: did Hines Ward actually catch that? There.
After the penalty, they play it first down at the 24. Zeraway hit in the backfield, loss of a yard. And the Titans have been mighty stern on defense against the run. They were second to the Steelers on the season in the league.
I think we deserve another look at that hit by Lance Schulters. Let's look at it one more time. Hines Ward, you know, from that angle, he looks like he hits him with a shoulder, not the helmet. And it appears to me that now their helmets, I guess, do touch. And yes, Ward did hold on to the ball. But I think when you look at that angle, which is the angle from which Jeff Fisher saw it on his sideline, no wonder he's irate.
Fisher, a former safety himself, you know, that's the kind of play that you coach. And Albert Hainsworth, a talented rookie defensive lineman, is the man down for Tennessee.
We've all seen instances, Dick, where you've seen the defensive back launch himself and turn himself into a projectile and really lead with that helmet. And Lance Schulters did look like he turned and tried to make a hit with the shoulder and didn't, try to lead with his helmet. And I think that's what he's saying.
He joins the list of frustrated defensive backs who have been taught to make a play in that manner and have been not only penalized but fined by the league. In the meanwhile, Big Hainsworth finally gets to his feet.
There's Big Albert right in the middle as he is in pursuit mode right here after Zeraway. And then his own defenders, as they come in from behind, he just kind of gets caught in the midst of that pile of humanity. For those of you wondering about that call, that personal foul call against Schulters, that is not a reviewable play. A personal foul like that is a judgment call by an official, and like all judgment calls, it's not subject to review.
Second and 11, 9-11 left in this fourth quarter. Maddox and the Steelers at the Titan 25 in this tie game. Zeraway. The sounds of the defensive attack as Zeraway yelping in pain as he goes out of bounds.
Well, he was caught in a really awkward position out of bounds. Amos couldn't get his legs out from under him. Watch Zaraway when he's out of bounds. He's going to be right here as he goes backwards. He can't get his leg out from under him. Tank Williams, the safety, has him pulling him back. And that was a test of famous Amos's flexibility.
Around here.
He's a little ginger as he walks back there. He's tap dancing a little bit.
So Fuamatu Mafala, the big 255-pounder from Honolulu, takes his place. 3rd down and 9. In field goal range, tied at 28. Here comes the blitz. Maddox has time underneath, incomplete. Burris had to go right through his mitts.
Well, you love to have a running back pick up the blitz. You don't do it much better than Chris Fuamatu-Ma'afala did it right here. Watch him, number 45 to the right, pick up Tank Williams. You're blitzing? No, you're not.
Repulsed.
Oh, a perfect pass by Tommy Maddox and Plexico Burris. That was a costly drop.
Reed is 2 for 3. He missed from 45. This one is 5 yards shorter. Missed to the left last time. This time he's got it. And the Steelers claim the lead 31-28 with 8.5 to go.
And can you be surprised with the hitting and how close this game is? This is the least surprising thing I've seen in a while, that these two teams are playing a game this close with this many people having to leave the field because of injury. They are knocking the you-know-what out of each other.
And Reed makes it 3 out of 4 on this evening's game. And a 40-yarder for Pittsburgh to move up by 3. And the way this game has been played, 8.5 minutes is forever.
You're going to have to take a number to get in the hot whirlpool after this game.
And this is going to be typical of the action we're going to see the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Nothing to hold back for now.
It's January last time I checked. That's the way this game is played in January.
They try to tell rookies, don't they? Hey, kid, I know what you've gone through in 16 games. It's different.
And a lot of the weights you pushed and a lot of the work you did in April and May, this is where it's paying dividends.
20 of the 31 Steeler points off turnovers. That one, field goal after the Deshae Townsend interception. Here comes John Simon. Finds a hole. And he's out to the 40 and to the 42-yard line. Good return for Simon, and the Titans in good field position. Well, folks, for the best NFL coverage, including expert analysis and the Internet's best live play-by-play, go to CBSSportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline.
The Tennessee Titans are without Eddie George, and they've been without a running game since the first quarter. They ran for 68 yards in the first quarter, a grand total of 17 yards since the first quarter.
George has that jacket off, trying to convince coaches he should go in. McNair complete to Bennett. And Drew Bennett with a first down at the Steeler 45. Foot and Townsend with a tackle.
Into this win, those are the types of passes I think Steve McNair and this Tennessee offense ought to be working with. The long passes have not been Steve's friend into the win, as they've hung up a couple times, resulting in a couple of Pittsburgh interceptions.
Drew Bennett moving up when Kevin Dyson was injured to a starter, has 5 catches today. As McNair with 221 yards, best in a playoff game for the Titan quarterback, who throws complete the Wycheck, and Wycheck's in double figures. Brent Alexander makes a tackle after a short gain. 10th catch for Wycheck, who played his college ball at Maryland.
And that hit left a mark on Steve McNair. It took him a good 5 seconds to get up, and look at him rubbing his right hand. Steve McNair takes one heck of a hit here, and you saw him get up rubbing that right hand.
gain of only 3 on the catch by Wycheck.
He throws this one to Bennett. And Drew Bennett gets more. First down at the 22. Well, Drew Bennett has reached status now, and James Ferrier is hurt, and the official telling him to stay down. But Drew Bennett has reached status now where the crowd is starting to yell Drew when he makes a play. I'll guarantee you that's never happened to this guy before in Tennessee. Oh, and Ferrier landed right on his head. Look at Steve McNair, but James Ferrier, watch him go over the top of Bennett when he hits the ground, and James Ferrier lands right on top of his head. Oh.
And able to leave the field under his own power.
Look at this. Oh, my. And he is up, and he is walking off. Whoa.
Thank goodness he's walking off and able to at least show every indication that it's not serious.
Oh, how fortunate is he to be walking off. Bennett, there's a little consistency. 6 out of 6.
As the Titans have driven into field goal range, trailing by 3. Steeler defense against the run, showing you why they were #1 in the league and led by Pro Bowler Joey Porter on that attack. And look at Ferrier.
Hey, are these guys tough? Are these guys tough? This is what happened to James Ferrier one play ago as he lands right on his head, does a complete flip.
Talk about a face plant.
And comes up and leaves the game for one play. Think he's got some neck muscles, folks?
2nd and 12.
To the end zone.
Incomplete. Drew Bennett was the target. Chad Scott on the coverage.
I think Bennett's looking for a flag, thinking that Scott grabbed him around the waist before the ball got there. Let's see how close does Chad Scott come to getting a call here. No, that was superior coverage by Chad Scott.
And you see he had to go in with the left hand. The right hand is broken. Michelle McNair, wife of quarterback Steve McNair, she's about to get her registered nurse degree, and she has nursed her husband through a real tough year. And she's been there with IVs and medicine for him all season long. 3rd down, 12. McNair gets out of that mess. Throws incomplete. He had 2 receivers over there. One was Mason, the other Bennett. Gilden and Townsend were the Steelers, putting McNair in a vice, and down is another Titan.
That's Brad Hopkins, the left tackle, who's playing with a partially torn MCL in his knee.
His right knee, wearing a brace for the first time in his career, isn't he?
Yeah, he missed the last 2 games of the regular season with that knee. And again, we talked about playoff football. If you can breathe, if you can walk, you play.
Here's Nedney to try to tie it from 42. His longest this year, 53. Into the wind, however. This is a tough kick.
Boy, did he draw that one in there.
Tied at 31.
Joe Nedney hits this about as solid as you could hit a field goal. Look at him drive through this. And he's got the nice little left to right. Got a little draw on that baby. And, hey, no big deal.
Nedney, who appreciates the opportunity. He's been with Miami, Oakland, Carolina, Denver, Green Bay, Arizona, Jets, Baltimore, Tennessee. Found a home here in Nashville.
For a while.
That's right. It's only his 7th season.
He's a kicker.
They don't buy green bets.
Tissue paper contracts. You write them in tissue paper when you sign. Down to 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go. All the work, all the pain, all the hope and dreams of players coming down to these final minutes as to whether the Steelers or Titans will advance for the AFC Championship. Nedney's kick. Lee made no, it's Antoine Randall L. And they don't let him get outside. John Simon was there first. And the stop at about the 27-yard line. Tremendous action here in Tennessee, and we can anticipate much of the same tomorrow. 4:30 Eastern, the Jets and the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders the #1 seed. The Jets, well, is there anyone hotter coming into the playoffs than Chad Pennington and Curtis Martin? And then you'll see Rich Gannon, the MVP in the league, and our own MVP team back in New York. NFL Today to kick it off. The crowd trying to spur the Titan defense. And skidding down is Arroway, and then kind of sliding through for maybe a yard or two, and Carlos Hall, the defender, and Arroway limps off.
Well, we saw Amos get hurt on the last possession where he was stuck over there on the sidelines and couldn't get his legs out from underneath him, and he tried at one play and takes himself back out.
Mafalo replaces him. He did sneak through for 3, 2nd and 7. Out of the standard set. Complete to Hines Ward to the 43 and a first down. Dean and Sidney, an extra DB, makes the stop.
There's a formation you don't see every time, an I formation with Kreider and Fuamatu Ma'afala, the 2 running backs. That's hardly a breakaway threat.
Hines Ward with his 7 catches for the game, a couple of touchdowns, and he's thrown a pass for a 2-point conversion that certainly is key to this game. 44-yard line. The clock ticks down to 4:15.
The Steelers have 2 timeouts left.
And the give is to Jerome Bettis. A gain of 3 to the 47. Bonnie?
Well, Dick, talk about a Tennessee Titans defense much less than 100%. You got a bunch of guys out there right now who are just playing hurt. Albert Hainsworth, who just went out a couple minutes ago, a lower back problem. Keith Bullock playing with a lower leg injury. Javon Curse was out for a while, re-aggravating that left foot. He's back in, and of course Andre Dyson with that right shoulder sprain. None of those guys are going anywhere but on the field.
Thanks, Bonnie, for that report. It's a hospital list on both sides.
But it's not a time to put on a baseball cap.
As Maddox throws incomplete off the hands of Hines Ward. His favorite target. Lands shoulders there on the coverage. 3:26 left in the 4th.
We were in the Tennessee complex a couple days ago, and prominently displayed on a sign up there was "Do whatever it takes to advance." It's that simple. That involves playing hurt. It involves playing when you're tired. Somebody makes a big play to give your team a win. It's true for both these teams. Do whatever you have to do to advance.
A tie game. 3rd down. Maddox complete to the veteran Mathis, and he stops shy of the first down at the Tennessee 48. Danon Sidney making the play.
Oh, it's so short of the first down, but there's no way Pittsburgh can gamble and go for it. Oh, that's got to be tempting, but Bill, they got to punt. you've got a defense that's why you have this defensive football team of yours. I know they've been gouged for 31.
And by the way, that's the 8th time the Steelers have given up more than 30 points this year. How uncharacteristic. You have to go way back to World War II to find a Steeler team so generous in points allowed.
It's their pass defense.
Fair catch by Mason just outside the 10-yard line. And it's Tennessee's turn with 2 minutes 43 seconds left in the 4th. Tonight, a great night for drama on CBS begins with Touched by an Angel, followed by Craig T. Nelson in The District, then go inside the secret world of the CIA on The Agency. It's all here tonight. CBS, America's most watched network.
Neil O'Donnell is coming into the game.
So that hand injury maybe that Steve McNair suffered was more serious than it appeared.
Listen to this crowd. Talk about a crowd that is just, and Steve McNair looks like he's in tears.
O'Donnell, the ex-Steeler.
Frustration.
Who took the Steelers to their last Super Bowl. Hands it off. And Robert Holcomb looked to have some good yardage, but Lee Flowers came up quickly to make a short tackle at the 15.
Well, this is stunning that Steve McNair is not in this game. We saw him complete a pass after, he got sacked and was rubbing his hand. We saw him complete a pass, a good throw afterwards.
Steelers use their second timeout.
Behind every Titans victory is a great
Is there some, where's his helmet?
Doctors and trainers of Baptist Sports Medicine.
He's trying to show that he can grip the ball.
He's got a bandage on his right thumb. Oh, look at it bleeding. Oh, his right thumb. He's certainly, it's bleeding. They're going to put a bandage on it of some type.
Boy, look at those eyes and the intense nature of this man. He does not want, the injury is not what's bothering him. He wants to be in the game.
Well, and even if he's only in the game to run the football.
Look at his wife with a sign in front of, I don't know if that's her sign, but that's how her husband's been living this season.
Man, I've seen some wives with a tough attitude. That might take the cake.
O'Donnell down the field. Incomplete. That'll be interference. Dwayne Washington, no, Chad Scott interferes with Justin McCarron's.
The bummer for Scott is that McCarron's didn't even know where the football was.
The Steelers are arguing that was not a catchable ball.
McCarron's didn't have any idea where that football was. He's just running down the field.
Foul.
Yeah,
the ball was uncatchable.
Yeah.
Third down.
Good call. Good call. It doesn't have to be overthrown to be an uncatchable ball. Justin McCarron's running this route, has no idea where the ball is. And by the time he turned around, he's in no position to make a play on that football.
Yeah, the ball was 10 yards wide anyway.
Right.
McNair's back in. Third down.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an overthrown ball to be an uncatchable ball.
And McNair with that right thumb bandaged out of the shotgun. Throws while being hit. Incomplete to Wycheck. No flag. Titan fans can't believe it. And Joey Porter put a lick on McNair as he uncorked the pass.
Let's first look at Steve McNair back in the pocket. Porter untouched blitzes right up the middle, but Steve McNair stood his ground, knew he was going to get hit.
Well, the Steelers should get good field position. There's 2:25 left as Hendrick kicking to Randall L., who stands at the Pittsburgh 43. High kick. Randall L., no fair catch, 45. And gets it to the 50. Fumbled the ball. It's picked up by the Titans. This is Rich Cody. Cody, touchdown, Tennessee.
An official threw his hat. An official threw his hat back at the 50-yard line.
That means the play is dead.
They're going to rule it down.
Oh, my.
Yeah, they're going to have a conference over this. You can see the hatless official.
Well, Randall L. lost the ball. Was he down by contact at the time? It, with the naked eye, didn't appear to be so.
Boy on the field is down by contact. Pittsburgh's ball.
Well, let's see what Jeff Fisher, will he use his last time out or risk his, well, he doesn't have to. This would be a, no, not yet. We're at 2:08, so it doesn't go to the upstairs yet.
Well, we looked at it right there. He is down. Randall L. is down on the ground,
Yep,
still has possession of the football.
Yeah, that's without question.
That's an open and shut case.
Yep.
He's down, and after he slides about a foot, it's actually a knee of one of the Titans that knocks the ball out. Yeah, that's no question. Chad Meyer gets a knee on the football. Good call by the official.
Just another play to get your heart beating in case it hasn't been speeding up. Steelers start at the 50. Tied at 31. Approaching the 2-minute timeout, and they're away in the embrace of Albert Haynesworth.
Oh, he's going to get a personal foul. You can't take a guy and drive him into the ground like that, Albert. I don't think Albert even realizes he's been called yet.
That's the rookie mistake.
You can't take a guy and pile drive him into the ground.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 97 defense. 15 yards. The first down.
I called it on Carlos Hall, but it was Haynesworth making the tackle.
He wraps, he makes a wonderful play. He wraps up Zaraway, and right there the play is over. But this is what he can't do. You can't take a guy and drive him head first into the ground. Remember when old Joe Turkey Jones did that to Terry Bradshaw? Ever since then, that's been an absolute no-no in this league. Can't pick a guy up and corkscrew him into the ground.
So the penalty takes the ball to the 40 of the Titans, who have been ticketed for 87 yards in penalties. This big sellout crowd is 68,000 plus. Tie game. Maddox short on the throw to Terrence Mathis, and that brings us to the 2-minute timeout. They're grumbling and rumbling in Nashville. It's had something of everything. Playoff football, 31 all, down to the final 2 minutes. Steelers with possession at the 40-yard line. 20 of their points off turnover. Look at that, 324 yards each in the game. Tied at 31. 2nd and 10. The comeback kid, Maddox, set the controls for Pittsburgh. Incomplete. Thrown to Hines Ward, and that'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Ward looking around for a flag, but just good coverage back in the Tennessee secondary. But again, a ball that looked like it could have been caught. Well, right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't in field goal range.
Yeah, they need at least 10 more, wouldn't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Burris limping out to the right.
Maybe 7, somewhere in that range, might give them an outside chance.
Ward and Randall L. to the left. Almost intercepted on the deflection. Tank Williams had a shot at it as it goes off the hands of Randall L.
Pass incomplete.
This ought to give us an awfully good look. Again, Randall L. down on the ground, makes a stab at the football. Ooh, that sent hearts up into the throats of people from Pittsburgh.
Now the Titans will get their chance as Derek Mason drifts back inside the 10. Tom Ruin to pop. Not all of this one. That's going to go into the end zone.
He got way too much of that. He almost kicked that out of the end zone.
Saw the difference in the wind effect, kicking left to right. Ball at the 20 for Tennessee. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, Jim, Dion, Dan, Boomer. Got lots to talk about in this game and the latest playoff news. All coming up on the Subway postgame show. And a reminder, stay tuned on CBS. The Saturday night lineup, Touched by an Angel, The District, The Agency, all on CBS. America's most watched network, immediately following the conclusion of this game in our Subway postgame report.
Well, each team with one timeout. You have to wonder if Pittsburgh can't use timeouts to stop the clock to try to get it back. But with 1:43, Tennessee certainly has enough time with one timeout to move into field goal range. The question here, how effective can Steve McNair be throwing the football with the injured thumb?
McNair, who finished third in the NFL most valuable player balloting behind Gannon and Brett Favre. Throws to the sideline. Oh, what a risky throw to Drew Bennett. How did that clear Deshae Townsend?
Oh, I can't believe I just saw that ball float over the top of Townsend like that. Look at the touch that Steve McNair put on that football.
It's a first down throw as Bennett has his 7th reception, 85 yards for this second-year receiver. Went to UCLA as a quarterback and played behind Cade McNown. They switched him to wide receiver. McNair dumps it off incomplete. Holcomb is open.
A bad snap from center. That thing came back awfully low. Steve had to go down and dig it. It was down there around shin level.
Second down.
Robert Holcomb looked like he stopped running. Like McNair was expecting him to keep going on the cross, and he stutter stepped, and that's why the ball was out in front of him.
1 minute 32 seconds left in the fourth. Tie game. Second and 10. And Derek Mason gets about 5. Chris Hope, the rookie safety, makes the tackle. Clock running at 1:20. Each team has 1 timeout. Steelers saying, just stay down there for a while. Let the clock run. On 3rd and 5. Down. Mason again to the 49 of Pittsburgh.
Don't use your timeout here. That McNair's going to get him up to the ball. You don't want to waste your time out here, but you don't want to just spike it either. Run a real play.
Mason 5 catches here in the second half. McNair pulling away from the Steelers, and there's that toughness to the 44.
And take your time out there.
31 seconds left. They almost grabbed the ball out of his hands as he cocked it back to throw.
Risky, but he got away with it.
Jason Gilden was right there reaching for it.
Pirouetting with the ball up in the air. How's this for pocket awareness by Steve McNair? And the strength. But why are we surprised?
And will.
We've been watching this for the last 8 years.
So 31 seconds.
And that was the last timeout for Tennessee.
And Joe Nedney, if asked to come in and try a field goal, his longest is 53 ever. He did have a 53-yard kick this year, but going against the prevailing wind, so
yeah,
one would think 45 would be reasonable.
But Steve McNair has the whole field at his disposal with 31 seconds. You don't have to favor the sidelines. You have time to use the middle of the field.
The throw is a lateral pass, and it's Mason reaching to the 41-yard line. Did not. No, the clock continues. And now McNair really has to hustle to get up there and down the ball. Stop the clock.
Ooh, that chewed up an awful lot of time. That was a killer.
He's not going to throw it down, apparently. Going to run a play. No, now he does after a hesitation.
Whoa.
Now it's 8 seconds left. There's about 7 seconds gone before he elected to down the ball.
Ooh, they had a chance to go down. I wonder if that was going to be a pass play or some sort of a gimmick play, because boy, that backfired to the point where that cost Tennessee the chance to run at least 2 more plays.
It was definitely a backward pass to Mason. And he never showed a hint of throwing the ball. So from the 40-yard line, and now it's 4th down as well, 4th and 1.
There were 31 seconds on the clock at the beginning of that play.
Timeout.
Well, sure can't be Tennessee taking a timeout. So
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, only Pittsburgh. But there were 31 seconds on the clock at the start of that play, and they ended up going all the way down to 8.
Well, now, Dan, you think through with Jeff Fisher and Steve McNair, 8 seconds, time for one play. But you can't throw it over the middle and have time to get the field goal.
Well, you throw it to the end zone.
End zone, or you go for a quick sideline pass and hope that maybe you get 10 or so and get your field goal unit on.
You could run. You have enough time. Dicey. But you have enough time to run a 10-yard out pattern in 8 seconds. You've got to. It could be done. It could be done.
Well, especially with a big spread. You got 2 men wide. And look at cower and protect against the bomb.
If you got to the 30, that'd be a 47-yard field goal. But the Pittsburgh cornerbacks are going to be sitting all over any type of a 10-yard out. If they're not, then they're sound asleep.
And there are 6 defensive backs on the field for the Steelers.
And they're all up in press coverage.
Triple left formation.
And Holcomb gets the 10 yards. There's the 10. 3 seconds to go.
And they got the matchup they wanted. They got Robert Holcomb on a linebacker.
And Joe Nedney.
Yep. Clark Hagan's number 53, the middle linebacker. He's got responsibility on Holcomb, and he never does get there. He's in the middle of the formation, and he never gets there until Holcomb is already out of bounds.
And now an entire season comes down to the left leg of Joe Nedney, who will try a 48-yard field goal to win it. High snap. The kick is no good.
Never had a chance.
Playoff overtime.
Kay Cower hardly can bear watching. And so after the rigors of 60 minutes of smash mouth, hard hitting football, will play in overtime sudden death.
It was a high snap.
And once that ball started right into the wind just took it away.
Right. Craig Hentrick did a good job of getting the ball down. It was a clean hold. Well, 2 teams in the same division for so many years, who know each other so well. 2 coaches who competed against one another in the National Football League. How symbolic is it that they come down and actually go to overtime?
Game. We're going to play the game until we have a winner. First team to score will win. The timing procedures will be just like starting a new game, the first quarter. 3 timeouts each. Any replay will have to be initiated by the replay assistant. Pittsburgh, call the toss, please. Tails is called. Hence it is. Tennessee wins the toss. They want the football. Which goal do you want to defend? Hold it. Which goal do you want to defend?
Wow, did the Steelers also give the Titans the wind as well? We'll double check on that when we return.
What is it? It's a UBA.
Playoff game. You all remember, this is January 11th. Last January 19th in the snow in New England, the Patriots prevailed against the Raiders 16-13. Steelers obviously did take the win and will kick left to right. Tennessee with the first chance, and John Simon and Justin McCarron's with the return duties for Jeff Fisher. Jeff Reed sends the right foot. High spinner. Simon. And he ran right into the crowd as he staggered forward to the 30-yard line.
Simon on the return.
Out comes Steve McNair and the Titan offense. The game that started with the Titans very impressive, scoring 2 touchdowns in their first 2 possessions to lead 14-0 by halftime. Turnovers for the Steelers got them back in the game 14-13, and then they took the lead on an early fumble in the third quarter, 20-14. and eventually tied the game on a touchdown and two-point conversion at 28. A couple of field goals in the fourth quarter, and here we are in overtime, 31-all. McNair to the side, incomplete. Coverage by Ferrier on Robert Holcomb.
Robert Holcomb pretty upset with himself. I think that was a catchable ball, and this is overtime. These are the playoffs. You don't want to be a guy that lets your teammates down by not catching a ball you ought to catch.
Second down.
Eddie George again on the sideline. Hasn't played since the first play of the second half with a concussion.
Triple left. McNair, who has been wounded all season, playing with an injured right thumb. Complete to McCarron's. 3, 50, 40, and out of bounds inside the Pittsburgh 40.
Dwayne Washington. Oh, what a lonely life it is as a cornerback. A relatively simple pass pattern ends up being a huge play because of a missed tackle.
Justin McCarron's first catch of the game is good for 32 yards.
And Washington is indecisive in coming up to tackle. He breaks down too far away from McCarron's. When McCarron's makes a play to the sideline, Washington can't get to him.
First down, 38-yard line.
He just broke down too far away.
Triple right formation. Blitz coming. McNair. It's McCarron's again. Back-to-back catches by the second-year receiver from Northern Illinois.
And I'm watching that going, Steve, you've done your job. You've gotten outside the pocket. All you have to do now is just throw it away. You're allowed to ground the ball. And what does he do? He throws a laser downfield. Right here, he'd already done his job. But no, I can make that throw on the run.
With 3 Steelers surrounding McCarron's.
Unbelievable work by Steve McNair.
It's good for 22 yards to the 16-yard line. Now, what will Fisher's plan be? How many plays before he brings in the field goal unit? Holcomb is the running back. Holcomb up the middle. Gets to the 13-yard line, center of the field, and here comes Nedney to win it.
Remember, Pittsburgh beat Tennessee because they tried a field goal on third down. It didn't work, got blocked, and then they kicked it on fourth down. Yeah, I think that's remembered by both these coaches. Come out here and try to kick it with a couple downs to spare.
One would guess Cowher will spend a timeout here and let Nedney think about it. It will be a 31-yard attempt.
Yeah, there's Pittsburgh calling for a timeout.
No play, no play. But he got a warm-up kick, which isn't all bad either.
And he made it. And he made it. Look at Nedney laugh. Yeah, the skyrocket guy. Hey, boys, it didn't count.
Well, now it sets off one at the other end.
Unbelievable.
Pyrotechnical prematurity.
You know, we're laughing about this, but you couldn't ask for anything to make it tougher on Joe Nedney than these fireworks going off. It's kind of funny for everybody else, but I don't think this is very funny for Joe Nedney. Because that really, you talk about icing a kicker, having the fireworks go off, the pressure of everyone in this town assuming the game is already won, and he still has to kick it.
Well, here's his chance. They'll spot it again at the 21, the 31-yard field goal by Nedney to advance to the AFC Championship.
No, God, they knocked him down. Nedney got roughed.
Nedney misses, and then a penalty flag down where he kicked the ball.
Now, if this is just running into the kicker, it won't be enough for a first down. This would be a first down if it's roughing the kicker. It's more
running into the kicker, number 20, defense, 5 yards.
Dwayne
It's
Washington.
still second down. It's still second down.
But they'll be 5 yards closer to the field goal attempt.
Well, now wait a minute. Now you go to 2nd and like 1. You go to 2nd and 1. Now, if I'm Jeff Fisher, my kickers just missed a field goal. Do I just go ahead and kick it again? Or at 2nd and 1, do I run the football and try to run it in for a touchdown?
And look at Bill Cowher. They get a break. They miss the short field goal, and his veteran cornerback runs into the kicker.
I got to tell you right now, I'd send my offense back out on the field. Now, if he kicks it, great. But I'd send my offense back out on the field. It's 2nd and 1, and let's play some more football.
Well, he's missed one and made one, and now he gets a third. Best 2 out of 3 to win the
He better, it's 2nd and 1 at the, 7-yard line. If Joe Nedney doesn't make this kick, Jeff Fisher is going to he's going to be in a tough spot.
He makes this one, and Tennessee advances to the championship game.
And I think Bill Cowher is telling Ron Blum, you cost us a game by calling that penalty. Boy, Bill Cowher is upset.
Well, here's the penalty again. The Steelers would still be alive as Nedney had missed the short field goal attempt, but Washington ran into the kicker Nedney, and the Titans celebrate as they advance to meet either the Jets or the Oakland Raiders for the AFC title.
Bill Cowher trying to call a timeout. He wasn't granted the timeout. The officials didn't see him. He said, I'll call.
Well, the ball was snapped as they were calling a timeout.
They cut it too close.
Yes, they did.
They cut it too close. They tried to get too cute, trying to call a timeout at the last second. You can see they're turning around. Jason Gilden turning around looking. No, but by the time he signaled timeout, the ball was snapped. That ball was snapped. The snap was a little high. Again, Craig Hendrick did a wonderful job of giving Joe Nedney a solid placement, and Nedney got a second chance. Not often do we get a second chance, and Joe Nedney did.
And Jeff Fisher and the Tennessee Titans in overtime advance with a 34-31 win in a playoff game that had everything any fan could ever want, including some controversy at the end.
I still would have sent my offense back out there to try to run a play. You know what? You run it into the end zone, and you don't have to worry about a guy hooking the ball or a bad hold or a bad snap or anything else. But it worked out for Tennessee.
And a heart-sick team of Pittsburgh Steelers heads back to the locker room. We remind you to stay tuned for the Subway postgame show coming up next.
It was a privilege to call this game. This was everything that playoff football is about.
34-31 Tennessee. They'll meet either Oakland or the Jets next Sunday in the AFC Championship. For Dan Deerdorf and Bonnie Bernstein, this is Dick Enberg. Thank you for being with us all season long. Stay tuned for the Subway postgame show. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.
Subway postgame show is sponsored by Subway. Fresh-made sandwiches on fresh-baked bread. Subway, eat fresh.
And hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Subway postgame show. You go back to last Sunday and those 2 playoff games, then this one added in 3 straight breathtaking playoff games in the NFL as the Tennessee Titans advance now to the AFC Championship game. They will either host the New York Jets next Sunday or they will play at Oakland.
That's the one.
And I'm here with Dan, Dion, Boomer.
Wow. Unbelievable. Catch your breath, boys. What a finish. What a tremendous finish.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind after that game, Dan?
Well, Dwayne Washington, I mean, just not being able to come up and make that tackle. Yeah, he's playing off. You know, he doesn't have a guy really that can beat him deep. I mean, he's a veteran
Justin
guy.
McCarron's makes a little catch, turns it into a big gain.
Then he runs into the kicker to give Nedney another chance.
In that situation as a cornerback, you don't want to get beat deep. The game's on the line. You're saying, oh, I'm scared. I'm not going to get beat deep. So you come up there a little tentative, and the guy makes a quick spin. That was a great move.
It was.
See right here, we see
Dwayne Washington running into the kicker right there.
Do you agree with that call? Was that a good call there?
Yeah, I think it was a good call. There's no question about that. We saw Bill Cowher get angry after the game. I think he was angry because he felt like his guys were calling timeout. That's the only thing that I can assume. I can't imagine that he would be angry with the guy running into the kicker because it was plain as day. Now, when I think of the game, I think of Steve McNair and how tough, he was today. He hurt his thumb. I think that Dan Dierdorf said it best. He said, if you can walk, you can breathe before the game. You play, especially when it's a game of this magnitude.
And, and Tennessee played really sloppy in this game, and with all the turnovers and everything, and still won, what's amazing.
All right, guys, let's go back out to the Coliseum, and Bonnie Bernstein is standing by with Steve McNair after this big Titan victory.
Steve McNair, I imagine you've been a part of a bunch of big games. How exciting is this one? Where does it rank?
This ranked among the top of them. I had a lot of big games in my career, but I think, coming out for 2 weeks and not playing, we came out here, we played well in the first quarter. The second and fourth quarter kind of hit us a little bit, but this is an exciting win for us. We just going to enjoy it right now and get ready for next week.
Fourth quarter, you jammed your throwing thumb on a helmet. It looked like you were in a great deal of pain. How tough was it for you?
Well, it was tough. I couldn't grip the ball. My finger was a little weak for a minute, and that's the reason we didn't go out the last couple series. But this is a game of champion. I came out regardless of whatever it took. We preached that all week. I was going to do it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Steve.
Yeah, you wonder about McNair next week and Eddie George as well after that hit he suffered in the first half, not to return. We're going to have more comments coming in from Nashville as we continue on the Subway postgame show. Another thing that comes to mind, though, folks, a first possession overtime win. You work. Hey, this is. I am serious. If you and we have no rooting interest, but if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you've been practicing since July, and you get to the playoffs, and you never get to touch the football with Tommy Maddox in an offense that puts up 30 points again this week, it's wrong. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, but
you play all season long, 42% of the time.
They had
11 out of 26 times a first possession win in overtime. It is not right. Both teams have to touch the
just
football.
Tell Dwayne Washington not to run in the kicker and make sure the fireworks don't go off.
Well,
maybe they get another chance.
Pittsburgh wins the coin toss. They've got a 40% chance to win.
They had 60 minutes to make
exactly
plays.
right.
But again, the numbers are
I agree with you,
indisputable.
Jim. I agree with you,
11 out of 26.
Jim, let it go.
CBS begins tonight. Touched by an angel.
Let it go.
Followed by Craig T. Nelson, the district. Hey, I have no rooting interest. I just say it's not equitable. It's not fair. You've practiced all season long, and you don't even get a chance to touch in overtime. It's not fair. We'll be right back with more in a moment.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.